Hi. Hello, gamers. How are we feeling? Are we feeling sexy in the club tonight? Are we having a good gamer time? I'm gonna be so fucking real with you, okay? And when I know I know that there really is no such thing as a chill EB stream. I'm aware. It has been informed to me. But I only woke up like an hour ago. So if you hear me be kind of like, ugh, that is why. Well, welcome in, everybody. My name is EB Games, and today is the Lord's Day, SKYRIM Sunday. Today we are playing. Oh, does it still say I'm playing Dark Souls? Wait, hold up. No, it says I'm playing Skyrim. Okay, cool. But I have been playing Dark Souls. I play Dark Souls every Wednesday. Wednesday is Wolfsborne Wednesday, and I'm playing it on PC because I don't have a console. I literally have no consoles except for my Nintendo Switch. Oh, I never turned my tits off. So I didn't have to turn them on. Damn. Eevee has activated their wenches call and Misty has been summoned. So, last time on Dragon Ball Z, we finished. Let me actually get the game up. I actually remembered to put on the game before I actually started stream. So I apologize if I seem tired, because like I said, I just woke the fuck up. Let me see. I don't know. Me and David, we went out to lunch today, and we went to like this new like ramen poke bowl place, and it was really, really good, but like I didn't even eat all that much. But man, I had to like take a nap to digest my fucking food, bro. It was nuts. Okay, no more glasses. Oh fuck, that's the wrong button. Okay, there we go. But welcome in, everybody. So, last time on Dragon Ball Z, what happened is we finished the Forgotten City. So we're currently wearing the armor from that. We're probably gonna get rid of it because I believe it's heavy armor, and that's not really what we're all about. Yeah. So I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we're definitely not keeping them, I don't think. Let's put back on our Circlet of Minor Magicka. I love that he doesn't, like, have a helmet. I don't like wearing... I know there's a way to get helmets to be hidden. Oh, I forgot to unmute my fucking audio. Whoopsie. There we go. Now we're cooking. But welcome in, everybody. So, here's the quest for today. Is we need to find our wives, because last time when we tried to bring our wives, to the Forgotten City, they accidentally pushed a Jarl off the cliff and caused the end of the world. So that's a big no-no. So we had to dismiss all our wives. So now my man's is on a quest to find all his wives again. But unfortunately, we have to do something I really don't want to do. And some of you may know what that is, but I know what I have to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. So shout out to one of my gamers in the Discord. Let me pull it up. Who sent me this. It was... I'm scrolling up. Let me see. For some reason, it's... my Discord isn't working. I wanted to say their name, but my Discord isn't fucking working. So it just says B. So one of my gamers, whose first name is B, gave me the console for Misty. And I don't want to do this. But we need to bring Misty back, and I'm not looking forward to it, because I know as soon as I bring her back, she's gonna be in my ass, up my ass, asking me to hold her titties, and I don't know if I have the strength for that. So let's type in the item code, because it won't let me control whatever. So it's this 5E00 6E 06E61. And then, oh wait, no, I forgot to hit enable, goddammit. Okay, there we go. You would think that I'd do this before stream. No, the fuck I didn't. I forgot. Okay, enable. Hopefully that works. Oh, okay. That did not work. I thought that was the item code for Misty, but maybe we got the wrong one. So, we'll have to look at that. The name is BFD Gaming. Thank you. Big shout out to BFD Gaming for giving me the item code for Misty. For some reason, it's not working, but we will bring Misty back eventually. I just need to find her item code. She may spawn naked. Why am I not surprised? But welcome in, everybody. So here's what we need to do is we need to figure out where all, I think I typed it in right. You need to find her in low order. She will spawn naked. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. It said it was Prid 5E006E61. I think that, let me look at the Discord again. Because that's what I was told. Let me see. Prid 5E006E61. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with that. And I'm pretty sure I typed it correctly. Remove the enable part. See, when I did it without the enable part, it didn't work either, which is unique. Which is interesting. Can I tab back into Skyrim, please? Can I? Okay, there we go. So, I promise we will bring back Misty Skye. When, maybe not today, but you don't know. We don't know. So, how much money do we have? Here's a question. We have a shit ton of money, and we have a wife. But we don't have a home. Prid's acting like you clicked on them in the console. Oh, so maybe if I do 5E006 E61 enable? Yeah, it says it's not found, which is interesting. Okay. We'll figure that out. But if someone knows, the item code. Hi, BFD! I just gave you a shout out for giving me the code for Misty. I don't know. It did not work. I'm sorry. But I might be fucking something up. So, here's the thingy for today. Is we have wives, and I would like to get a home for our wives. Because we don't actually have a home. Okay? Try summon, and then the code. Summon, let's see, 5E006E61. Yeah, it says summon's not found. I typed the full thing and it didn't work, so you can kind of see up here what I've been, like, typing. Yeah, I wrote Prid and then the code, and it says not found for parameter, which is kind of annoying. So, here's what I want to do. Let me go to show race menu. Or not show race menu. I want to go to NFF, our follower framework mod, and I want to see if we can see where our wife's is. Welcome in, everybody! Hello! Welcome, welcome. So, where are my wives? So, okay, viewing Misty Skye import. Okay, here, maybe, for some reason, you need the load order number first. Oh, what's the load order number? I have no fucking idea. Might for some reason be a different code. Okay, I'll have to look into that then. So, we might not get Misty Skye back today, but are we really gonna be upset if Misty is not here to torment us? Are we really gonna be that, upset? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm okay if Misty Skye is not here. What do you mean, nope? I hate her. No. So is her sister. Misty is evil. I don't get her deal. So where are? Yeah, I don't want to do that. Thank you for the hydrate, beef. I appreciate it. But welcome in, everybody. So, load order number is a literal, no, I know what load order is. I just don't know what number. I don't have it. I don't know where, Misty is in my load order. But welcome. I'm doing okay. Oh, BFD, thank you so much for the sub, gamer. You now have a PlayStation 2. Thank you so much for your support, gamer. I appreciate it. Nah, you're okay. But yeah, Misty lives on in our hearts. We will get her back, okay? We will get her back. Misty Skye sounds like a porn name. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm doing okay today. I did just wake up from a nap, so if I'm a little more chill today, that's why. We went to a boba place, and we got, like, Pokeballs at the boba place, and it was really good, but it, like, I had to, like, take a nap to digest that shit. I don't know why. Are you using Vortex? Yes, just because I'm using, Immersive and Epic right now. So we won't bother with it right now, but I do want to find the rest of my wives. So let's see. There should be a few of them, but welcome in, everybody. Let's see. Follower abilities. This is just showing for Misty Skye, which she's been eliminated. Where is it? Am I looking at the... Oh, that's... Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one, because I know it's... Okay, we're not loading up naughty voices. But I'm trying to find where the rest of my... Okay, you know what? Here's... First things first. There's no... Hey, excuse me! Can you... Bro! It is not... Shut up! Okay, my bush is working again! My bush was broken! Okay, go away! The power of nature compels you! Nature says to fuck off! Okay, come on. Excuse me! Stop! Bush! Thank you. Okay. Alright, so... Here's the thing, though. Is we can't really do anything with our wives until we have a home. So I think we need to do some real estate shopping. Okay, I need to think we figure out where we want to fucking live. Okay, the bear just wanted the femboy. Relatable. But let me see. I think the question is, where do we want to live? So I know there's like some really cool custom homes. Like there's the immersive community hangout. I want something a little bit smaller. I don't want anything like, well, I guess I would need something huge. But wasn't there a house near here that like I tried to like, I accidentally had sex with someone and then I got a free house? Or am I making that up? That was like forever ago. But do you guys remember that? I don't know. But I remember there was like, was it Frost River? What is this? I want to see what the fuck's going on. Because there's no use for having 8 wives if we don't have, like, storage for said wives, you know what I mean? But welcome in, everybody. Welcome to SKYRIM Sunday. My name is ZB Games, and I'm here to, what do you mean? Yeah, it was, like, weird. You had to sex someone for a house. I think or maybe you had to kill them. Those are 2 very different actions. But I don't remember. Hi, Ben. Hi, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. I get kind of overwhelmed when everyone comes in at all the same time. So I apologize if I missed anybody, but welcome in, everybody. So, okay, it wasn't here, but it was like somewhere, and maybe it was on the other side? I don't know. Shrine of Fort Dunstad, Sightless Pit. No, this was something else, I think. But I remember, because there's part of me that's like, I don't want to live in a hold. You know, I want to be a country boy. You know, country boy, I love you. Bleh. Y'all remember that shit? That was like, I used to quote that all the time. And then people wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And they'd be like, what? So I remember we saw Leveler's Tower. And Leveler's Tower was really cool. But I don't know. Okay, I want to live. I don't want to do Fellberg because I know we're going to be doing Fellberg during the YouTube playthrough. But was it here? No, that's where we just checked. But welcome in. Hi, everybody. I know you had to kill someone and you get a house in the west of the map. Okay, the west. Never eat sour Wheaties. Okay, it's over in this direction. That's Fort Kragstad. Do I have to discover it? I thought you could just kind of stumble upon it. I think it is closer to Markarth. But, like, pros, I get a house. Cons, Markarth. And I don't want Markarth. Random, welcome in! Finally getting an EV stream after watching all the memes on TikTok. Ah, thank you! I'm so glad you like my TikToks. Welcome. Are you getting Sophia on here or the YouTube playthrough? I'm honestly not sure yet. I want to find Sophia, but I also want a house. So I guess the question is, I don't want to live in solitude. So for those of you who don't know, I did start a playthrough on YouTube. And that playthrough is going to be a long-form playthrough. So if you're new to SKYRIM Sunday, the way SKYRIM Sunday works is I pretty much create a character, or usually it's one of my long-standing OCs. This is one of my long-standing D&D OCs. And then we kind of do a playthrough that's tailored towards them. So there's some stuff we might do, and there's some stuff we may not do. And it's meant to be, even though I'm kind of shitposting and I'm not, like, actively role-playing, it's kind of like, let's take this character and let's put them on a journey, right? And it's meant to be different for each character. Because I like trying different characters, and I like trying each things. The YouTube playthrough, however, because I've started streaming on YouTube every Friday, is the opposite. It is a long-form playthrough. So because it's going to be a long-form playthrough, that's when we're going to be doing mods like Fellberg, which is the Build Your Own Noble House mod. That's when we're going to be doing stuff like Legacy of the Dragonborn, because that's like you kind of need to 100% the game to do that anyway. So a lot of the stuff that I really, really like doing, we're not going to do here because I've realized, because I've tried to do Legacy in the past or with SKYRIM Sunday, I've tried to do Fellberg in the past, and I like those mods a lot, but they're not suited for more shorter form playthroughs like SKYRIM Sunday is, right? So our YouTube playthrough is going to be the stuff where we're like 100%ing the game, doing all the mods, doing everything, you know? So keep that in mind. But I do love Dragonborn Gallery. So I want to go not to Rorikstead. Who wants to go to Rorikstead? Oh, I know what I want to do. Okay. Helgen. We have to go back to Helgen. So that was the thing, is we had to do some waiting for Helgen Reborn, but the Imperial Guards are here now. So basically, we're rebuilding the city of Helgen, and we had to choose if like Imperials were gonna help us or Stormcloaks were gonna help us. But I won the war, so the Imperials are gonna help us because I said so. So before we do anything, because this might give us a player home or something. Let's head back to Helgen and see what they want from me, because I was kind of worried that SKYRIM wasn't going to be able to stand on his own, but he's been doing pretty good, actually. I was worried he was going to be not as good. Imperial ship, but no Thalmars. no Thalmor, okay? We'll give... I've talked about my views on the Civil War a few times. I think they're all bad. But I would definitely say Imperials are like the lesser of two evils, in my humble opinion. What about the Hearthfire stuff? Oh, I didn't even think about that. I genuinely haven't done any of the Hearthfire shit in forever. We might do a Hearthfire thing. We might do a Hearthfire house. Where are the Hearthfire houses, actually? Thalmors are the baddest, and not in a good way. They're not baddies, they're just bad. So let's see what's cooking over here. But you can see it's already looking a little bit better. You know, there's still dead people burned to a crisp, but it could be worse. Doggos, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You know, Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss, welcome in. So let's see what they want from me here. But I'm really excited to finish Helgen Reborn in this playthrough, because I've never finished Helgen Reborn. It's always been one of those mods that I started and then I just never fucking finished, you know? So let's see what's up. And I don't think I've actually ever gotten this far either. Falkreath, Morthal, and Dawnstar. We could take a look at, why don't we take a look at Falkreath? I think that's what I want to do the most. Because, like, I don't know. I don't like Dawnstar. Dawnstar just gives me weird vibes. And, like, I don't know, you know? I don't know. It's just not, it's not for me. You know, it's not for me, right? Let's see where they are. But it is already looking better in here. You know, Dawnstar feels like a cult town. Yeah, I feel like they're all gonna, like, drink some Kool-Aid one day. And not in, like, a good way, you know? Not in a... Yeah, it's just... I don't know. I feel like they're gonna, like, ask me to make a pact with them. Evie gives off good parent vibes. You saying that makes me severely worried about your upbringing. Like... Are you okay? Are you good? I do think Falkreath is nice after that. You just have to help the Jarl after he sends you the letter. Oh, I think I could do that. That shouldn't be bad. All right, what's going on over here? What's the tea? Oh, look at their armor. Wait, they have like little like thingies on their armor.
Practicing on targets is one thing, but there's nothing to get your blood pumping and sharpens the senses like real combat.
Who's talking?
I'd like for them to get into the...
Oh, this guy. Hi.
Well, there are these reports we've been getting.
I'm definitely okay. Lakeview Manor. Ooh, I think that's where we'll go then. I think that's where, because I think we do have the letter from Falkreath, but we should be, yeah. Because doesn't everyone get the letter from Falkreath? After you've like played for like a certain amount of time, we should have that. You know, we definitely should have that.
If he's willing to help, it would be a great help for the morale of my men.
Oh.
And it will also allow me to start their individual...
Are their voices too quiet, by the way, or would you like me to turn up the volume? Will the mods allow multiple wives to move in? Because in vanilla, you can only get one.
It should be fine.
So here's the thing, is I'm only married officially to one of my wives, but I think I can make them all, because of NFF, I can have them all set a home base. You know what I mean? So you should be okay. Good day, gentlemen. I'm a gentleman. What happened? The whore base. Yeah, let me turn the audio up for the voices. Hold up. But welcome in, everybody. Let me see. Where's the yoink. Okay, there we go. The game audio. Is the game audio overall? Oh, that's because I turned everything down. Hold on, let me do this. I turned everything down for Fallout New Vegas, because Fallout New Vegas is loud as fuck. Fallout New Vegas was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, we need to train new guards.
Hello. Huh? Always good to see you, Dragonborn.
Hi. I have to do training, okay? We have to... Wait, it says Misty's here?
My wife was always proud
Wait.
of who I was. Somehow I
Misty?
think she'd be
It's a...
ashamed of me now.
It's... Wait. That says it's Misty. But how... Oh, ha, ha. Even in death, we cannot escape this bitch. She's in the walls. Thank you for the posture check, squirrel. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is the best she's behaved. Jesus Christ, she's in the fucking walls. Cause I disabled her. Is she reincarnated? Is this like candlestick? I mean, those candles look really nice. Like they're very like, the graphics are great, but Okay. All right. How do I? It says, okay. How do I train the new guards? How do I know who's a new guard or not? I don't want to offend anybody and be like, hey, are you new here or like whatever? Because there's no like marker. Are you new? You're hot. You're my acquaintance. Okay, maybe not. Let's see. Ignoring Misty haunting us and being in the fucking... Oh, click her and type enable? Wait, will that actually work? Because right now she's just in the void. Wait, let's see if this... Yeah, it says she's over here. She's teleporting. I don't think... no. Because I can't click on her. She's just in the walls. What do I... Huh? Yeah, that's just a hallway. Ma'am? What? She's teleporting. What? I can't... Huh? It just says the hallway. They turned the woman into a hallway.
Keep girl
Take it down
boss.
and thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You're a gaslight gatekeep girl boss. My ex-girlfriend is haunting me in the walls, and oh, this is... That would annoy the heck out of me. Yeah, I kind of fucking... Oh, shit. Okay, well, we're just gonna ignore that for now. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, you're not a guard. You're just Patsy. We have to train some guards, and I don't know what that's gonna, like, involve. Oh, you are a torturer. Okay. The wall is booming bristly.
What do you need?
Wait, hey, wait.
Speak, elf.
Wait, why are you here? I literally killed your leader and then had sex with my girlfriend in front of your fallen soldiers. Why are you here? What's your problem? Prid her code and then enable. Okay, well let's try that. I'll give it the good college try. Okay. Prid and then hopefully her item code should be the same. What was it? Okay. Let me see back in the Discord because I lost it on my show race menu. Prid 5E006E61. Okay, let's try that and see if it works. If she majestically appears, she's gonna be naked. I'm just warning you guys now. Like, I'm not gonna make a bit out of it. She's gonna spawn in and she's gonna be naked, okay? And we're all just gonna have to deal with her and her big flabby tits, okay? And that's just... Yeah, it says compiled script not saved. That's weird, okay? Because it's with items and people like that, you should just be able to type, like, enable them again, I think. Who are we stabbing today? Well, I was gonna stab Misty Skye, but now she's in the void. Do you vocal coach to non-VTubers as well? Yes. So my studio, for those of you who have seen about like my studio and stuff on Twitter, just giving you the warning now, by the way, my streams are not educational in the slightest. Yeah, I'll do the stuff with Vortex after stream. I don't feel like messing with it right now. I teach to everybody, but because I am a VTuber, it just kind of happens that most of my students are VTubers, but we have quite a few students that aren't VTubers at all. It's just one of those things where it's like, the way I started, I've been teaching for 6 years now, but the way I started my studio online during COVID was I met a bunch of people through VTubing, and they were like, hey, you're a singing teacher, right? And I was like, sure am. And they're like, can you teach me how to sing? And I was like, okay. And now we're here. So that's why most of my students are VTubers, but I absolutely take non-VTubers as well, you know. But yeah, for those of you who didn't know, I'm a singing teacher for a living. I teach mostly VTubers, but also some not VTubers how to sing, and it is very, very fun. I enjoy it a lot. Wait, letter from a friend. Wait, what's the T? What's the T? Hold on. What letter from a friend? What's this? Let's see. Thank you, Munch. Yeah, a few of my students are in chat, but also every student that has come through, because here's the thing, right? There's two groups of people that know me. There's my stream gang, and there's my teaching gang, right? And there is some overlap there. Every single time one of my students comes to my stream, They leave thinking I am clinically insane. How does one become a student? By paying a certain amount. So pretty much, I have a server. I think it's actually linked in my panels and stuff. My EV Music Studio server. So if you'd like to take voice lessons from me, that is down there. But pretty much, I have one-time students and weekly students, or full-time students. Full-time students, I meet with weekly, whether for a half hour or an hour. And one-time students, pretty much when one of my regular weekly students can't make it to their lessons, I put that slot up to everybody. They know the real you, yeah. Like, any professionalism is like out the door, because it's like, oh yeah, my singing. I always feel so bad because people come in and they'll be like, oh my god, you're the singing VTuber lady. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm screaming about tits. So, like, not the best first impression from a professional standpoint, but I think I'm hilarious, so it's okay. But pretty much, one-time students kind of come in whenever, like, a weekly student can't make it. Maybe they're traveling, maybe they're sick. And pretty much voice lessons are, like, a thing you just kind of pay for, because it's my job right now. So, what does this say? What's the T? Dovahkiin, it is no coincidence that you are here on this day. Pay no mind. Wait, why is this letter? This letter's addressed to me, but it's in that guy's chest. Mail theft is a felony. Just saying. Pay no mind to the Empire nor the Rebellion. The World Eater will return, and with him, you'll soon discover your true destiny. Okay, cute. You are unlike all other heroes of your time and will be remembered for generations to come. Take this armor and sword. Use them. Wait, is this just free armor from a friend? I don't have friends. I only have bitches. Steel plate armor. Wait, what is this? I don't even like heavy armor. Is this like special? Oh, it just says steel armor. This is mid. I don't want this. I don't need that. That's not special. This friend is shit. Why are you giving me basic ass armor? But welcome in, everybody. But yeah, actually, I was gonna like, I don't know. I always like hesitate like talking about like my job, like the VTuber side of my job I don't mind talking about because it's honestly kind of fun to say that I teach VTubers for a living. I really enjoy it. But like we went to BJ's today. Not the fun kind of BJ's. No. We like the Costco thing, right? Thank you for the hydrate.
You're Dragonborn.
Sure am.
Shore's bones. I wouldn't have ever believed it.
Well, shut up. Let's see where the other ones are. The one with the Pizuki. Yeah. But basically,
Yes?
are any of you like people I need to be training?
something?
Put a shirt on. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, who are you people? All right, anyway.
What do you
But
need?
let me close off this thing. But basically, like, I always, like, we went to BJ's today, right? Because we had to get some stuff. And, I saw all the back to school stuff, and I'm... So, for those of you who don't know, right now I'm teaching VTubers full-time. But, I have to go back to school and teach children, for the school year. And I am not looking forward to it. And like, it's a lot better than it used to be. I don't want to have sex with you. Leave me alone. It's a lot better than it used to be, but I enjoy teaching VTubers so much more. And I only work at one school, so I'm like part-time. I only am at school from like 8 to noon. And then I go back home and I teach VTubers. But I still don't want to do it. I'm low-key, like, dreading going back to school. I've been enjoying not being at school so much. I'm like, it's just like, I'm so much happier. I have so much more energy. I'm, like, healthier. I'm sleeping better. I'm taking better care of myself. And I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Welcome in, Cliff. But, yeah, it's... I am a little anxious about it, but I'll deal, you know?
Let's just say, I was impressed.
I don't even remember what I did. So, it says I need to train the guards, but where are they? Are they, like, in here? Do I have to, like, grab them? Because they don't have any, like, signifying armor or anything like that, you know what I mean? But, tummy hurt, hi gamers. But, where the fuck are they? Like, was I supposed to, like, follow him? Because it said... Help Korst and Shadrick. What kind of fucking name is Shadrick? That's like, that's not a real name. That's not a real name. All right, let's try. Okay, I was literally playing Pathfinder with one of my friends, and my friend's character, it was something named like Rufius or something like that. But I remember I asked him his name while we were playing, and I deadass thought he said Rucifer, and I thought it was the dumbest shit ever. And I was like, your name's fucking Lucifer? Look at this asshole with 2 first names. Thank you for the posture seconds, sir. Welcome in. Zoe and I are doing a big collab together. It's gonna be really cool. It's for
said she might like to tag along with you on some adventure.
I was talking!
Marcus and Valeria.
Yeah, I just don't know where these guards are, so I'm supposed to be training. Like, there's no marker. You're just standing at a... Okay, anyway, I don't fucking know where they are, you know? But we're gonna be doing a big song collab together for Beyond Two Worlds from Limbus Company. I actually have never played Limbus Company. And I don't know shit about the game. But I was approached to see if any of my voice students would be willing to join the collab. And I was like, I want to sing in a thing. So now I'm learning about it. Okay, do I have to talk to you? No. What does the ellipses do?
Ah, hello. How's it going with the guards?
I don't know where
Please
they
check
are!
with me again after you have finished with them.
But where are they? Where? Okay, alright. Where? Where are the guards? It is a very good song. What, are you a guard? No, you're...
Well, hello.
Okay, you're... Maybe they're in the wall. Everyone's in the fucking wall today. Is it... Are you? Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, shut up. Where... I would like to... No! My only options are sex. I don't want to do sex. I want to do my job. Where? Did I break this quest too?
Good evening.
They're with Misty?
Speak.
Everyone's in the fucking wall today. Okay, this is not great. How did I break this quest? There's no way. There's no way I didn't even do anything. Did disabling Misty break Helgen Reborn? That doesn't make any sense. There's no way an interactive story mod and a prostitute mod are gonna... Hello? Get up, Shadrick! You stupid ass. Wait, what was the other name? Korst? I'm gonna Korst all over your balls, idiot. Alright. Help me! What am I doing? Okay, fuck you. Alright, there we go. Jesus Christ. Are you?
Fine day to you.
Thank you, Patsy. Okay, good for you. Yeah, there's just... Are they in the hole in the wall? Literally, can you imagine? They're all like, oh yeah, they're at this new place. It's like a little hole in the wall, and it's a literal fucking hole in the wall. Okay, great. He woke up to eat some bread, then went back to bed. I respect that, you know, but like... What if I wait till morning? Yeah, what time is it right now? I cannot wait in this location. It's like midnight. It's like 1 a.m. So maybe that's why. Maybe I have to go sleep. Yeah, because this is like the starting area. And we have this little bridge now. Oh, wait, no, the bridge has always been there. But like, it looks a little bit less shit than it did in the beginning of the game. Someone should really like clean that up. Because that's, that looks dangerous. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't... Oh, okay, Witch Bolt doesn't actually ignite it. But that's a... We're gonna get sued into the fucking ground if someone slips on that. I'm gonna be real with you. I just wanted to do a help. What? Wait, what's this? Enable the bridge? To do what? Make bad choices? It started with 6-6 instead of 5e like mine. Okay, interesting. I'll try that again later. I just don't want to like spend the whole like stream worrying about Misty. I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna move on. Okay, I guess I can't go over there. You know what? Fine. We'll do a little arson as a treat. Just for you guys. Just for you guys. Someone needs to clean this up. And now it's all clean. Okay, perfect. We'll just let that, it's a controlled burn. Okay, yeah, see, look at that. Now it's all clean. Okay, it's all clean now. All right, and now we're not gonna get sued if someone slips on that. There's no wet floor sign, okay? All right, let's go back over here. Well, I guess we'll take a nap. And maybe when we wake up, the guards will be there or something like that. Oh yeah, to make a clip, all you have to do is just type !clip, and it'll make a clip for you automatically if you would like to clip. It helps me out a lot. But please don't feel like pressured to do it. The quest marker might be broken. That's possible. Here, let's just take a nap. Okay, fuck me, I guess. Booster 9 followers off High Hrothgar. Listen, I'm having a rough time. I lost all my bitches. I'm trying to do a good deed, and it's just not... I just wanted to be a good noodle. Can I sleep here? No, I can't sleep in this location. Can I sleep here? Wait, where do I get to sleep? I'm the one that cleared this fucker out. I would like to... Listen. One of my YouTube viewers wrote in my Skyrim Sunday comments like, oh, you could have saved Lydia, made her essential through NFF, and I'm like, I didn't want to. Fuck Lydia. Snack that guy. I mean, I guess I could, but it's gonna be all for naught if like I can't get into bed anyway. Where can I sleep? Can I sleep anywhere? I would like to go Nini, please. Can I wait here? Yeah, I can't wait in here either. What the fuck did I do? All right, we'll level up, I guess, while we're at it. Let's level up our health. Well, restoration's been what we've been doing mostly. I don't know how to make it an actual clip so I can post it. Oh, it should generate a link for you, I think is how it works. It should do that. You want to be good, but the game says no. Yeah, the game is trying to make me do bad choices. Wait, learning the Sunblast spell. Study the arts of destroying the undead, learning the Sunblast spell. When your restoration skill reaches 50, you learn Holy Hands. This is like very paladin. Okay, here's the thing. Is like I wanted to go for more of a druid build, and I've been using mostly the bush spell, the however the fuck you call it, because it reminds me of like Tanglefoot or like one of the thorns thing in D&D, or it might be Pathfinder. I'm not sure. But like, there's not a clear druid path. It feels like, even with like the mods and whatnot. This is all like wards and stuff. Must require a valid token. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, this is all healing spells, wards. Because I thought really it would be like destruction or maybe alteration, honestly. For like geomancer. No. Philosopher's stone. No. There's not. I really want to do more of a druid. Here we go. Wild shrines, maybe? Your next 20 spells do not use magic and are twice as effective. When you run out of spells, you are unable to cast spells until you rest by sleep. Oh, they give me spell slots. Okay, fantastic. Mage armor. Oh, so this is like if I want to not wear light armor. Energy shield. Spellblade. Command look. Ritualist, maybe? I don't know. Dungeon master. I don't know. I feel like I can't really... Yeah, 2 ritual spells. I feel like this is like maybe the closest to druid, but it's still not quite what I want. Illusion mastery, night eye, commanding presence, wilting. No, okay. I guess we'll just keep putting points in restoration, and we'll see what happens. Found you on TikTok with the erected courier. Sometimes, whenever I have a TikTok blow up, it's not like a TikTok where it's like, I put a lot of thought and effort into this. I really, like, worked hard to try and make good content. It's shit like that goes viral, and I'm like, well, okay. Welcome in. You got mods to add more spells? Yes, if you're curious about the mod list we're using, if you type ! mod list, a link to the mod pack I use is in my thingy. But welcome in, gamer. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Misty's still in the fucking wall, so you know what? Fine. I just want to take a nap, but Skyrim apparently hates me today. Can I take a nap out here? Can I, please? It's always the out-of-pocket shit that goes viral. It's so funny because for a while, all my videos that went viral had Dave in them. So Dave used to say that he was a niche internet micro-celebrity. Which, like, he kind of is, you know. Good on Dave. He's made his mark with deleting all of Whiterun, you know. Let me see. Yeah, is there anywhere I can sleep? Okay, I can wait out here now, so that's good. Dave is my boyfriend. Yeah, he's the joke we have is he is the true main character of the stream, and we play Fallout with him every... What, are you guys the...
Need something?
You guys aren't the new recruits. You're just...
Need something?
I guess you guys are just... Oh my god, she's got fat titties. Sorry. I guess we're just
What do you want?
hanging out here. Let me take a nap, and we'll see what happens. That's weird. I don't know what's happening. Maybe the rest will make everything better. Okay. Who are the guards that I'm training? God, it looks like shit. I really don't see anybody. This was literally my plan for the stream, is to do fucking Helgen Reborn, and okay. Let's see. Desperate times. Train the new guards. Should check with Korst. Okay, that's what I have to find. I guess I have to go find Korst, okay? Let's see where he is. There's no quest marker, so I'm just gonna have to use my brain, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not thrilled about. But we'll see. Okay, I do have this clicked, right? Yeah, I don't. Fuck off, Misty. We'll deal with you later. You're not important to me right now. Where is Korst? Where is he? Because he apparently is who I need to talk to. And maybe he'll, like, lead me to them? Maybe the guards don't spawn in until I talk to him or something like that. Hi, Boston! Your name's Hurd. That's dumb as hell. Over here. No, that just leads me back outside. I think he'll be... Sorry. I think he'll be with the others. Because he's in, like, the fucking... Where is it? The main area. You know? Isn't this Helgen? Yeah, we're trying to do Helgen Reborn. But we need to train the soldiers, but I don't know where the fuck they are. Everyone I'm finding is just naked and like, or half naked and like sleeping. So like, I don't know where the fuck they are, you know? Hello? No, this that guy. I don't care about that guy. Okay. Korst. Are any of you motherfuckers Korst? Where is he? Yeah, he's not gonna be down here, is he? How is our Lord and Savior David? David is making chicken parm sliders right now. Do you guys want some? Because there's gonna be extras. So like, if you want some, you can have one, you know? Where the fuck is he? We might just say fuck it and go to Falkreath and get our house for all our wives because I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, the man is gone and I wanted to help. I wanted to be a good noodle, but man's is... Who are you? Torturer's assistant. Oh, what a job. How do you think, like... How do you put that on a resume? Right? Like say you're trying to get a job, like break into the torturing field. How does one go about that? You know, do you just like, do you have to do like a torture apprenticeship or like some shit? Like what's the career progression of that? Cause I always wonder about that, you know, like, do you need to like, is there a nepotism aspect to torturing? You know, is it like, you gotta know someone to be someone? What's the deal with that? You have to apprentice with the torturer until they retire? Okay. Marcus Janus, Val, Korst. No, that's still Marcus Janus. God damn it. I'm really good at interviewing people. I mean, yeah. Where the fuck? Everyone's just gone, bro. Okay. A medical degree or a psychology degree. Bro, you can't get any jobs without a degree anymore. You can't even torture people without a bachelor's degree. That's fucked up. Okay. Let's,
We're here to teach you a lesson.
What? Hey! What the fuck is your problem? What did I do? Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! Bush! Go through my bush! What the fuck was that? What do you want? Wait, where are their bodies? I want their shit. There's one of them. Leather scout armor. Ooh, that looks cool. Goodberry, give me that. I just got fucking jumped. How did I get jumped? Jesus. Wait, is there like a note contract? There we go. Wait, what's going on here? What's going on here? Contract. That the new one? That thief. What did I steal? Is this the new one? For killing someone. Who did I kill? Whatever, fine. I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. I don't know what the fuck they're on about. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna walk around here and see if whoever the fuck is out here, but if not, we're just gonna say fuck it and go to Falkreath and get our house for our wives. Okay, we can get our sister wives' house. You know what fucked me up? Okay, did any of you ever watch Sister Wives? Wait, are you who I need to talk to? Hold up. Korst!
How can you absorb the soul of a dragon?
How can you ignore me for so long? Okay, I'm ready for a mission.
Okay.
Wait, no,
Let's
you're supposed to... God
This
damn
says
it.
that
He was supposed to
vampires
help
have
me with
taken over
the...
an old ruin near the lake west of here, and have been abducting
That's not what I
travelers along the
wanted.
roads.
That's not...
See what you can find and report back to me. And no matter what you do, don't let them touch you.
Oh, okay, but like...
True,
Oh!
he has been a thorn in our side
Can you...
for many,
Personal space.
many years.
Personal space. Can you...
Let's hope that we can finally be rid
Can you
of him.
please get out of my dick hole? Okay, anyway. Okay, so it looks like we need to get Cirrus to follow us. Okay, and we're gonna evaluate him. And we're gonna kill a vampire. I don't know, here's the thing. Severin as a character hasn't really done a whole lot of, like, combat. He usually just relies on his hot women to, like...
Oh, what? Where are we going?
We're gonna go kill vampires. Doesn't it sound fun?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
I hate filthy vampires. Let's go.
He sounds way too casual about that. Like, he doesn't sound like he's gonna be, like, a guard. He sounds like he's, like, ready for a Food Network special, right? He just doesn't sound very intimidating. I don't know. Like, I feel like he should be, like, teaching me how to make, like, a panini rather than killing vampires. But whatever makes you happy. Oh, you're grinding Legacy of the Dragonborn? I'm so hoping we can make progress in Legacy. I am so hoping that we can, because the first stream for the Legacy playthrough on YouTube was, gonna be honest, a hot mess. It was a bit of a hot mess. What are the names again? I forgot already, bro. I forgot. How far is this? It says 476. Let's just fast travel because I'm lazy. I feel bad because we spent like the first 30 minutes of stream dicking around because we couldn't find anyone. Then Misty Skye was stuck in the fucking wall. Like, I want to get my wives back, but now I have to, like, now I have, like, this guy. Fucking Alton Brown looking ass. Okay. Let's go over here. Boop. Okay. Can't handle a little fall damage, bud? Huh? Wait, what happened here? Wait, are you good? Oh, no, you're dead. Ooh, rocks. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my god, you had a lot of rocks. Ooh. Oh, you have a lot of shit. Oh, it's because you're a merchant. That makes sense. Oh, that's a horse. Sorry. Sorry that happened to you. Remember the next mod in the Rigmer mod series? Ooh, what is that? I haven't heard of that mod before. I don't know. I kind of am slowly thinking about adding some new... Okay, I'm gonna be so for real with you, chat. And don't be mad at me. Okay? I don't want you to be mad at me. But... I am considering taking Little Sexy Armor Replacer out of my load order. I know that's gonna be... That's a big one. I know we really love Little Sexy Armor Replacer in this house, but I am thinking of getting rid of it. How mad will you guys be at me if I get rid of Little Sexy Armor Replacer? Will I be canceled? I don't want to get canceled, but what the fuck happened to that tree? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, it fell. Okay, bye. Because it's not causing problems per se. Here's the thing. I wish it was a way where you could, like... I wish it wasn't a replacer, per se. You know what I mean? I wish you could have, like, slutty armor and not slutty armor. Like, business armor and casual armor, right? Like, the armor you wear when you go to the club and the armor you wear when you, like, go out for drinks after work. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is really pretty, by the way. This is very... Ah! Thank you. Business armor, party armor, right? I feel like I wish I could have both, you know? But sometimes it's like... Sometimes the Elsar armors, like, look really good. And then other times, I'm just kind of like, this feels a little silly. Thank you for the yeets, gamers. I'm so glad that you all love me so much you want to beat the shit out of me. So, let's go up here. And we'll see what the fuck is up. Because clearly I can't scale this wall. What's the next time you'll be taking new students for vocal coaching? I have, so pretty much if you're in the Discord, I ping people for openings, essentially. Usually I get at least one opening that needs to be filled. Hi, Gla! Thank you for the hydrate. Usually I get one part-time opening or one-time opening per week. But I actually have a slot now for weekly lessons. It'll only last for like a month. Who the fuck are you? What is that? Gollum? Wait, what are you? What? Why are you so, whoa! Wait, why is it foggy? Wait, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Why are they smoky? Wait, what? Ah! What the? What's going on? I thought I saw a dragon up there for a split second, too. Why are they vaping? They're like 3 feet tall. What? Huh? Hi, Pasta. Welcome. Bring more. Oh, those mods, I might check those out actually. I might add those to my loader. I think I have heard of those. But I actually have one weekly lesson slot open right now for Mondays. I'm in the Eastern time zone. For Mondays from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. or like 9:30 to 10 or 10 to 10:30 if you want to divide it in half hours. That I'm trying really hard to that I'm trying very hard to get filled. But if you'd like to answer, if you'd like to hear more about voice lessons, definitely join the voice lessons server. I think it is linked in my panels and whatnot, just because I'll be so real with you. I am more than happy to answer your questions, but now is probably, there's a lot happening right now. And I don't know how many professional answers you're gonna get out of me while I'm trying to, oh God, her tits are out. Oh my God, yeah, yeah. Here, why do they not take damage to the, oh my God, what? The jump! The hops! Okay, here, do they not take damage from bush? From bush? Wait, I think I have spells that, wait. Holy fire! Holy shock! Wait, these are all for my hurl into oblivion? What the fuck? Wait, what does this do? I don't think I have enough. Yeah, that costs 611 magicka. I don't think I have enough for that. No, I have. Wait, consecrate. Oh, I'm gonna consecrate. Oh, I'm gonna consecrate. I'm gonna consecrate. Oh. Okay, now that does damage. Yeah, because they're undead. Okay, what? No, I have vampirism now. God damn it. Okay, I think I have a cure. I think I have a cure. Hold on. Where's my thing? I need the balefire. What's the? I know I have shit that does damage to whatever the fuck. That's an erection. I know I have some wild shape. Oh no, that's out of combat. I don't think turning into a deer is gonna help me out. Call rattlesnakes? Yeah, fuck you, have some snakes. It would be in here though, wouldn't it? Aura of vigor, aura of thorns. Wait, caster, oh! Oh, this has a large wind-up time, it looks like. Yeah! Okay, I'm helping! I'm helping! Okay, there we go. You are... Okay. Well, I have a disease now, so that's not good. But I think Goodberry cures diseases? Yeah. Bunk! Okay, we should be okay now. We should be okay. Alright, let's see. Gold lockpicks. That's not too bad, but, well, there's still... Oh, what's this do? Wait, what's this? What's this? Is there gonna be another woman in here? Ah! What was that? Oh. What? Okay, that was not necessary. We did not need to moan or whatever for that. You're fine. So that's the people. Wait. No, I shouldn't kill a recruit. He's here to prove himself. I don't want to murder an innocent man. Not yet. Maybe later though. You know, depends on how I'm feeling. Bandit outlaw. Okay, you got straight up vaporized, my guy. Let's see. Okay. Wait, they oh. I'm sorry. So no head? I'm sorry. Okay. Will they do damage from the bush? No. So I think bush only works on real people, I guess? This is a long windup, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Where's my consecrated ground? Mass immortality. Concentrate. What? I feel like if you don't know what that word is, consecrate sounds like sexual. Like, what does consecrate mean? I don't think that... Because my dumbass is like... Wait, what's parasitic growth do? Oh, okay, they resisted that. So I guess I can make, like, something grow in them? That sounds, interesting. Okay, Aura of Might be good. We're really, like, being a support caster here, but... Yeah, there you go, buddy. There you go. I'm just the healer, don't mind me. Spirit Storm? Let's see. Consecrate means turning bread into the body of Christ. Oh. So was me saying I'm gonna consecrate everywhere, was that offensive? Ah, shit. Sorry! Sorry about that. Oh, there we go, Sunblast, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Ah! There, oh, holy shit, okay. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay, now we're cooking. Are you alive? No, you're not. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Anyone else? Would anyone like to feel the blast of my son? This is my son. This is my boy. Sirs, he's my son. I birthed him with no epidural out of my boy pussy, okay? He is my son. Oh. That's probably bad. You say that as if nothing in this stream is offensive. Here's the thing. I was talking to my dad, and he was like, I feel like you have, because my dad watches my streams, right? And he's like, I feel like you have the perfect balance of, like, you're edgy in the sense that, like, there's boobs everywhere, and you make sex jokes all the time, but you're not, like, a dick. Like, you're not, like, mean. And I'm like, well thanks, I guess. That's my goal. That's the thing, is I'll make fun of myself all damn day, but I don't understand people that feel like they can't be funny if they're not, like, punching down. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna, like, make fun of someone or, like, something for comedy, girl boss. Right? Robin, thank you so much for the follow. You're now in Gaslight Keep Girl Boss. Welcome to the stream, you know? Like, I'll make fun of Skyrim women all day, but, like, I don't know. I feel like when you hear the term edgy, it makes you think of, like, really bad shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be edgy in, like racist, homophobic, transphobic. I feel like if you have to be one of those things to be funny, then you're just not funny, honestly. And people will say, like, oh, you're not funny because you're just loud and you talk about tits. Fair enough, you know? If you don't like my sense of humor, that's fine. But, you know, I don't know. I got a comment. Where is this guy, by the way? We're just ignoring that, okay? Thank you, Robin. The joke we have here is there truly is no good time to come into an EB Games stream. I can't stand those intolerant of others in the Dutch. Matt, I don't know how to tell you this, but you might be intolerant of others, and others being the Dutch. I don't know how to tell you that. But that's the thing, and I do appreciate my hey, my son, I can't do this alone. Wait, son, where's my boy, son? There's a guy and a woman. Oh, there's people that help me. Okay, I need the aura. Oh, that's my fucking no, he's gonna go down. Okay, immortality. Okay, ready? I don't have enough shit. Okay, Spirit Storm. Where's the aura of my, where's the Healy one? Yeah, there we go. Okay, Austin Powers in my Twitch. I thought no, I have autism. That's a different thing. Okay, wait, no, get out. Okay, come on. Okay, and then I need to start favoriting some of these things. Okay, there we go. Get out of here. Stop. No more vampires. Okay? No, I'm Dutch. Oh, okay. Understandable. But yeah, like, it's like, I got a comment on TikTok the other day, and it was really funny to me, and it was like, another dime a dozen streamer that thinks being loud is being funny. I'm like, you know what? Sure. But it's working out for me. Like, here's the thing, is a lot of times I don't intend to be loud. Like, as I said, I've talked a lot about my job as a vocal coach. It is actually very bad that I am being loud, right? I have had to, like, train myself to not get as excited when I'm streaming, right? Because I genuinely love streaming and I have a lot of fun with it. But there have been times I have fucked up my voice so bad because of it, you know? And I want to be able to... Okay, can you stop moaning? I know you're in pain, but it's really not the time, okay? Here, come on. Ready? Aura! Okay, there we go. Hold on. I'm using my brain. Going outside my comfort zone? Hell yeah! Alright, come on. Die. And then you die. And then we're cooking, okay? We're cooking. I guess... I feel like I really wanted to do a more druid build, and I guess it's just not as doable as I would have hoped. So I guess maybe we should lean into the more, like, healer caster thing, because it seems to be what we're doing anyway, you know? Okay, so I had to take a sippy. But that's the thing, is I've had to literally... Oh, this fucking puzzle. I hate this shit. Okay. I've had to literally, like, train myself to not be as loud while I stream, because I'm not doing it on purpose. Like, is it part of me being funny? Sure. But I have to, like, actually train myself to not do that as much, because I have fucked up my voice, and then the next day for work, I'm, like, in excruciating amounts of pain vocally, you know? So Like, especially after the Dark Souls streams, I usually like have to temper myself or I'm gonna feel like shit at work. And it's like, as someone who sings for a living, my voice is like, if my voice like gets fucked up, I'm done though. I am Dunyan Rings, okay? EB needs the power of booba. Yes, I think everyone, male, female, non-binary, regardless of gender or sexuality, can appreciate a good boob. Or boobs, plural, you know? Did you guys ever see, like, in middle school, that girl that has 3 boobs? And she had, like a boob in the center? Like, it was, like, left tit, right tit, and then, like, a middle tit. Because I remember, like, my friends showing me that when I was younger and being really, I still don't know to this day if it was real or not. I'm gonna be honest. Also, what did these chains do? What do you mean? You haven't seen it? Hold on. I'll post it in the Discord in NSFW, which is, by the way, we have a stream Discord you can join. You can keep up and get pings for EB Game streams and see pictures of women with 3 titties. Where is it? Women, or woman, I think it was just one. Woman with 3 boobs. Where is it? The first one is a New York Times article that says, meet the 3 boobed women. Thank you for the follow. You know, I guess I can keep girl boss. We're talking about women with 3 tits. Yeah, this one. I'll link the article in NSFW in the server. Listen, it's important. Okay, it's important. Okay, see there, I put it in NSFW in the server. If I get a bunch of pings about a bunch of people joining the server at the same time, I'm gonna laugh. So how do you like grow your Discord? How do you promote viewers to join your Discord? Women with 3 tits. Well, it's working for me. God. She got 3 booby was because she didn't want to. Wait, what? I remember hearing the reason she got 3 booby was because she didn't want attention. Like she got. Wait, okay, hold on. So she was like, wait, we are coming to see the 3rd boob. That's fair, but like, she didn't want it, so she got more boob for less attention. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't think that's how that works pretty much. Yeah, like I don't want to be like here's the thing is if she was born like that, you know, like that's not her fault, you know. I get that, right? Like I know a lot of people that were born with really big chests and they like hate it because people are weird to them all the time, but I don't think getting more boobs, like a whole ass 3rd boob for less attention, I don't think that's how that works, but what do I know? Oh, also, where is this vampire threat? Do I have to figure out, do I have to go over here? Because I'm not good at puzzles, okay? I'm really stupid. Paul had a 3 booby alien on a comic. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, wait, there's a whole ass path over here. Okay, I'm stupid. There we go. But thank you for joining the Discord. We're gonna do a sub event next week. I wanted to do it this week, but I forgot that I'm running a theory study session thing at in the work server. So next week we're gonna have a sub event, and then I think the week after that we're gonna do a non-sub event. We've been watching as a community. We've currently. Oh, I was trying to. Thank you. Anyway. Some real life anime alien chick. Just be a VTuber, girly. It's so much cheap. Like, being a VTuber isn't cheap, but it's gotta be cheaper than getting a whole ass 3rd tit, you know? Like, but I mean, what do I know? You know, what do I know? Why stop at 3, 4, 5? Get a tit on your forehead. Smack that shit around. Fuck it, you know? Well, how far can we push science? You know? Ooh, shit, 300 gold. Okay. But, we've been watching, as a community. We've been doing watch parties of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And it's been very entertaining. So we will be getting back to watching reality TV together. It's very fun, and usually I drink a lot of wine, and it's a good time. A tit on each limb, one on each employment house. Yes. Oh my god. Okay. So I don't remember a ton about where we left off with Real Housewives, but all I remember. There was this one girl, so a bunch of them are Mormon, yes, and again, I don't want to be offensive, but a bunch of them are Mormon, but the thing is this one girl, and I don't think this is because she's Mormon, I actually think she's one of the few that isn't Mormon, yes, so there was this girl, and like, I need to focus to tell this story, or are you, yeah, okay, I need to focus to tell this story, give me a second, but basically, her whole thing was, apparently it was her grandmother's dying wish that she marry her grandpa. And apparently it's her step-grandpa. But, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that makes it better. I don't think that's good for anyone, really. But I just remember they got into a big fight. Oh yeah, it is a tabloid, so we don't know how accurate that is. But I remember she got into a fight with one of the other girls, and they were yelling at her, and the one girl just went, well, at least I didn't fuck my grandpa. And you see the camera pan to everything, to everybody, and everyone's just like, it was so fucking funny. But it is a wild ass show. And then like I think like there was drama because someone smelled like a hospital. It's a weird ass show. I'm gonna be real with you, but it's very fun to watch. Okay, so this has a thingy on it, so that probably means something. What happens if I close this? Am I gonna lock myself in? Like, what's the deal with this? I know I need to open that. And then there's no other chain over here. Let me hydrate again. I don't know. Do y'all know like another fucked up thing I thought about, by the way? Like while we're on the topic of like boobs in places there should not be boobs. What if like nipples were like slightly longer? Like what if your nipples were like 2 inches long? Like they were like dangly. That'd be crazy. That'd be fucked up. But like I think about that sometimes. Like that's a kink? What? No, it's not. No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not. How do I get past here, by the way? I'm a little stupid. I need to figure this out. Okay, you keep shooting. You keep rooting, tooting, and shooting. That's a kink? Sometimes I worry about you. What if you get your nipples stuck in a door hinge or some shit? I know there's people watching the stream right now that are like, Evie, just solve the goddamn puzzle. I'm trying to figure it out, but I can't. So I'm trying to like, okay, there's the thing. Don't lie to yourself. I don't know, like, oh my god, I just think about that sometimes. That's so, like, why is everything a kink? Why does everything need to be a kink? Why can't people be normal? I know I'm the last person that should ask people to be normal as a fucking VTuber, but like, I'm grasping at straws here, man. Okay, so is it like I have to have the levers and, is there something back here? No, because this is where we came from. I don't know. I've had some times where like I've accidentally smacked my tit on a door. Like I'm walking somewhere and oh, here we go. And I accidentally like smack my booba, or my booba runs into something. I don't even have particularly large like tits. It just kind of happens. I'm like, ah, and then I just move on with my day. It's not like the worst thing in the world, you know. But sometimes you smack your tit in something and it kind of hurt you. Okay, here we go. So that opened this. Let's see. Let's go over here. And then, so that closed that. Oh, wait, hold up. Wait, bear. Wait, and then there was the bird. Was there anything like that back over here? Because it looks like our pattern right now is bear, bird, bear. Okay. And then another bear. What the fuck? And then a dragon? Huh? What the... Do I have to pull these in different orders? What's the... I hate this shit. I fucking hate puzzles. So it was like... Bear? I'm just curious. No. Pull bear twice. And then the dragon? Ah! Welcome in, gamers! We are rimming the sky today. Well, we were rimming. It was going great, and now I don't know what the fuck's going on. So we've ceased our rimming for now. The article that was linked was confirmed to be a hoax. No! You mean the 3-titty woman is fake? What? This is horrible. I want to go home. I hate... Oh, god damn it! Okay. Yeah, because there wasn't a lever in here, I don't think. Was there one in here? I'm so mad that the 3-titty woman let us down. When society needed her the most, she disappeared. For those who just came in, we were talking about the hoax about the lady that has 3 boobs, which we now know is a hoax, which is... Yeah, the bear. Wolf. Yeah, I know it's from a tabloid, but like... I just wanted to be... Is there nothing good in the world? What do you fucking do with this one? What is the thing? Okay, I'm looking this shit up. I don't know what to do. Where are we? We're in Shriekwind Sanctum. Yeah, I'm looking this shit up. I don't know what the fuck to do. Let's see. Shriekwind Sanctum. Where is that? Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest, actually. The more I sit on the site, the more I feel like it's gonna, like, give me a virus or some shit. Shriekwind Sanctum. What's the puzzle there? Okay. Come on, Wiki. Do your thing. Walkthrough. Here we go. Large circular stone with 3 sandals. We did that. There's a... Wait, what? Okay, hold on. I have to read this. Okay. First part goes through multiple hallways containing skeletons and vampires, which later leads to a large open area. Head left and go up the stairs. This leads to a few corridors and rooms containing skeletons. Eventually, one will come to a room with 2 gates, a large gate to the north and a smaller one to the south. There's a circular stone with 3 handles. Okay, we did that. 2 of the handles open up secret doors leading to gear and empty coffins. 3rd handle opens up a small gate. Continue through the large gate and continue going up. Near the top, there's a wide hallway with a pillar that has a handle on one end and a gate on the other. What? Pulling the handle on the pillar will open the gate, but also start the flamethrower trap. It doesn't say anything about, like, the bears and shit. Yeah, let's look on UESP. That one is better. Yeah, are we on... Okay. Because there's a north, the Shriekwind Bastion, there's a south Shriekwind Bastion, and then there's Shriekwind Bastion, okay? It's like how there's, like, a rallies in some places and a checkers in another, you know? Okay, let's see. The final battle. Okay, well, we're not there yet. Pressure plates. Oh, God, I hate reading. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I'm so bad at reading. I don't know how to read. There's a light. Most of these skeletons are ground level. Sorry, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I genuinely don't know what to do. I genuinely am like, hello? Okay, 3 handles, 2 doorways. Okay. Apprentice lock chest with 3 chains. But the left chain is the chain you want, and it operates the larger gate to the north. The right-hand chain opens the gate between the 3-handled room and the wet room. What the fuck is the wet room? Which is useful if you're following this guide in reverse. There's a skeleton head with 3 skeletons. Is that where we're at? Let me see. Floors awash with blood. What? The room that's wet, we didn't ignite it, but we tried to fight it. That should... Yeah, I'm, like, trying to figure out where to go. Where's the... Like, okay. I'm looking for the fucking... The thing about the levers. Or it's not even levers. It's chains. Corpse, random elements. Maybe I'm just not reading it right. Yeah, what the fuck is the wet room? What is the wet room? Polythelia. Interesting. Multiple breasts. Oh, okay. Because this is like, because we have, okay, lever. That opens that. Okay. And then over here we have these things. The other 2 levers. And I don't know. I don't even remember how we got these motherfuckers open. So it said pull the bear one twice. Wet room's maybe the one filled with blood. Well, that's significantly less fun than what I was imagining. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Because there's a pillar on the bear. Or there's a pulley thing on the bear. And there's a pulley thing on the dragon. And that says wolf. And then there's like a bird or some shit over here. Okay. Like the bear. Because I know someone... Yeah, oh! Bear, dragon. Okay. Bear. Dragon. Ah! Okay, maybe I have to pull the lever again or something after that? Jesus fucking Christ. This stream is a god. What happened here? This stream's a goddamn mess. I am not having I am off my shits today. Derogatory. Okay, help me. Okay, bear. Like, there's nothing on that side, right? Yeah, this is the moss room, or whatever. Bear, dragon. Maybe it's dragon, bear. Maybe that's it. Let's try that one. Dragon. Bear. Ah! Just pull bear twice. Okay, let's do bear twice, and then we'll do the lever. Okay. Lever. Yeah, because there's nothing fucking in here. There's nothing fucking in here. I'm so ready I'm literally about to stand up and be like, David! David, help me! I'm really thinking about summoning him. I will call him right now. Where's my phone? Do I have my phone with me? Hold on. We're calling him. I know he's like in the kitchen, but I'm lazy and I don't want to leave you. I can't leave you alone. You'll be sad, and I can't have that. Why'd my mouth stop working? Oh, there's no light in here. They can't see my face. Okay, there we go. There's light in here now. Can I? Wah! Okay, I bonked my shit. Okay, hold on. Where's David? I'm calling him. Not delete his number. Oh shit. Okay, come on. Let's call him. I hope he picks up. What if he doesn't? Hey, can you help me with the SKYRIM dungeon?
Can you get good?
No, I cannot.
What could possibly be difficult about the SKYRIM dungeon?
There's animals and levers and shit. Can you come here?
No.
Please?
I'm making dinner.
But I'm stuck.
Well, that sucks.
Please?
Oh my god, give me a second.
Yay! Thank you! I love you. I love you! So it worked! We did summon the Dave. Bring dinner with you? Oh my god, we can't ask you for too much. We already got him to agree to help us. David is on the way. Do you know what to do? Let's talk about home. What? I just met this guy. Why am I inviting? Hi, David.
Alright, what's the issue?
Okay. So, lever make gate go.
Okay.
And then I go in here, and then bear pull thingy, dragon pull thingy, and I look over here because I did try it by myself. I tried really hard. Dragon, bear. Okay. And what happens? Is I do this, like, I tried dragon, bear. Dragon.
Okay.
Dragon. Bear.
Okay. Do you hear gates anywhere?
Well, this one's open now, but this one doesn't lead to anything.
Okay, is there anything in that one?
No. Oh, there's a...
Fox.
Yeah, but that's, like, doesn't mean anything.
No, it always means something.
Well, like, there's, like, okay, so there's, like, a fox, like... There's a bird there and a fox there. But there's no pulley thing with a bear or with a wolf or with a bird.
Okay, well, hold on. So if there's a fox in both of them, then they're probably connected somehow.
Okay.
So you're probably missing a trigger in the other one.
In,
the one with the fox.
So...
To the right. Turn around.
This one?
Yes.
I don't see anything.
Check behind the throne. Look around.
I don't see anything, broski.
Well, hold on. Look in the rubble pile.
That's just a dead guy.
Yeah, move them to the side. They might be on top of something.
Why are they so heavy? Why can't I... Come on.
Wow, they're on top of a lever.
I'm gonna kill myself, actually. God.
Oh, wow. The gate's open? Oh, wow. Evie can't solve a lever puzzle in a decade-old game?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
How was I supposed to see that?
Common deductive reasoning.
I don't have that.
What's that?
Fuck this guy. Okay, fuck this guy. I'm mad now. I'm upset. Well, how are they resisting the sun? Stop resisting the sun.
As I said on the phone.
Shut up. Go make me dinner. Go make me a sandwich, David.
You know, just for that, you get no chance.
Aw, you know what? I deserve that. I deserve that. I deserve that. All right, what's the deal? All right, okay, I can sunblast these guys. Okay, for some reason, one of them, like, wasn't, like, blasting. He wasn't blasting. That's the thing, is you just gotta, they never expect the reverse sexism, you know? They never expect that. Okay, can you, I guess that's it, you know? You seem familiar. I used to stream like way back when with a different avatar. At one point I had a vampire avatar and at one point I had a fairy avatar. So that might be why. I don't really stream with those ever anymore. But that might be why I seem familiar, you know. Let's see. That's why the one bandit, oh, the one bandit wasn't undead. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I guess we can just leave now. I don't know. I mean, like, IRL. Were you at a convention in early 2011? That's a really specific question. So I was 11 in 2011. But I think I was, actually. I think I was at either Otakon or Anime USA were the cons I went to that year. I remember I went with my dad and my mom. I cosplayed. I also went to MomoCon, maybe in 2012, I think was when I went to MomoCon. Yeah, now I just leave, I guess. Now I just walk out. I thought there was like a word wall or something around here. I don't know. I used to cosplay. You really got me exposing how cringe I am. I used to cosplay from Homestuck. I used to cosplay from Hitalia. Yeah, I was insufferable. Well, I'm insufferable now, but even more back then. I was at MagFest that year. Yeah, I don't think I went to MagFest until I think my first MagFest was 2015, and I cosplayed Star Guardian Lux. That is what I did back then. I kind of want to get back into cosplaying more, but I don't have time. We know you're cringe. We all are cringe. I mean, yeah, this is a VTuber stream. What does this do? What? I don't know what that did. Thank you. But yeah, I am like 23 years old, so I was not, I was 11. I think I may have seen your YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, that might be it. I do post all my VODs on YouTube, so that could be it, you know? Here's the thing with VTubers, is a lot of the VTubers you know and love were very active in something. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. We're probably very active at one point in something called the utaite scene. And if you don't know, utaite is basically a word for people that covered Vocaloid songs way back in the day, you know? So, who's whispering, by the way? Stop whispering, that's cringe. But a lot of like famous VTubers started off doing like covers of Vocaloid songs. And I remember, hi, Bill's very welcome. Is E-Boy here? E-Boy just left because I told him to go make me a sandwich. And I think he is literally making a sandwich because we're having chicken parm sliders for dinner. I think I can just go out this way. But, I remember, like, a lot of my friends that are VTubers, why are there shoes everywhere? Okay. They were part of that, right? They always, they were doing, like, covers and stuff. And some of them use similar personas now, but some of them have completely changed personas. And I remember I wanted to be a utaite. When I was growing up, I wanted to make covers. I wanted to, like, get cute art of myself and be in chorus battles and music videos and sing. And I was actually never a utaite. And the reason for that is, my parents said no. My parents would not let me post, well, they let me post on YouTube, but for all the stuff to, like, for art commissions, if any of you guys do art commissions or whatever, like, things like that, you have to use PayPal to pay with them a lot, right? And my parents wouldn't let me get a PayPal account, so I couldn't, like, participate in anything or commission art in my OC or anything, so I couldn't be a utaite. So the joke I make is my parents, I wanted to be a utaite, but my parents said no, and now I'm a VTuber. But yeah, so a lot of your favorite VTubers have probably had like internet presences. Like I feel like a lot of times people be like, oh, this VTuber like came out of nowhere. You know, it's like not really. They had a following beforehand. They just may not go by the same name. Right, so like biggest example is Bao, you know, the VTuber Bao, the whale VTuber. She used to go by Hikaru Station and post covers and do like Utaite stuff, you know. And she still does like post covers and make like music and stuff. She just goes by Bao now, you know. EB's best VTuber, thank you. See, like I said earlier, my parents are surprisingly accepting of me being a streamer, right? So it went from like. It's funny because when I first started, my parents were like, now don't quit your day job. You can't just sit at home and stream all day. And now they're like, have you considered getting a manager? Which is like, really, I think it's because like, I don't know if this sounds mean, but I think they like, I don't want to say they didn't think I could do it, right? Because my parents have always, even in the early days, they've been like, you're really funny. You know, we like watching your streams. We enjoy them. Hi, Kai-Van, welcome in. But my parents were always very much like, don't quit your day job. And I think when my music studio started popping off, they started taking VTubing specifically more seriously. Because like my dad and I have watched streamers together for years now, right? My dad is the one, like I talked about in the Fallout stream, my dad's the one that got me into video games in the first place, you know, when we played Half-Life together. But they never really understood VTubing, which I get. And, like, when I explained it to them at first, they were like, they understand why I do it, but they don't understand it on, like, a mass scale. You know, they're like, okay, I can see that,
Good to see you.
you know, like, because for me, the whole reason I started VTubing is I was really not super confident in myself. Ever. I am going to go through this dialogue because I don't think it's going to be super important. I always had like self-confident issues, and I always thought that like if I stream with my face, people would just call me fat and ugly. And like VTubing has increased my confidence a lot. And I do IRL streams and I show my face pretty frequently nowadays, especially since I kind of have to show my face. For voice lessons and stuff like that, because when it comes to like certain like singing stuff like diction and posture, it's easier for me to just show people than like than like try to abstractly demonstrate the shape your mouth needs to be to sing to get like good resonance, you know. So like there was also like the money aspect of it, but I don't make a ton of money from streaming. It's more so with the studio, like I make most of my money from the music studio, from teaching voice lessons, and I think they're starting to see how it's like a valid industry in a way, especially when my dad, like, who's like not a super big stocks guy, but when he saw that like Hololive, like Cover and Niji were like being like, you know, publicly traded and stuff like that, he was kind of like but that's the thing is like how do I say this? I had like a thought in my brain, but it went away. But that's the thing is they've never like doubted me. It's just one of those things where I think it's like they didn't realize how big it could be. And again, I don't consider myself a big streamer, but I'm pretty well known in the VTuber community for being a teacher, you know? So I'm not really as well known for being a streamer. On TikTok, I'm known for being a streamer, but like in the bigger VTubing space, I'm more known for being a teacher than a streamer, you know? And I don't like necessarily mind it per se. It used to really bother me because like here's the thing. I love teaching. I love being able to teach people how to follow their dreams and how to kind of like, I like making people feel confident. Like I've had a lot of people that I've worked with where they're like, this is my first time making a song cover. I never thought I'd be able to do this, you know, stuff like that. But at the same time, when I started VTubing and streaming and stuff, I didn't do it with the idea of, oh, I'm going to be the VTuber teacher. I did it with, I want to be a VTuber, you know? So I'm really glad my studio is like doing really well because it is now my main source of income, teaching voice lessons. But I'm also really glad that my content is also starting to get more noticed by people, you know, because like, don't get me wrong, I love teaching, but I'm here. The reason I started this is because I wanted to make content, you know, and I love making content, so I'm definitely not going nowhere, you know, but my parents are a lot more supportive, and they kind of understand what's going on. If I could use keyboard, mouse, and sit comfortably at my desk, I consider maybe streaming. I definitely get that. I get that. Emphasis on possibly maybe because I too have self-confidence issues. That's what I was gonna say. Is like VTubing made me a lot more confident in myself and made me like the funny thing about it is VTubing made me more comfortable showing my face. if that makes sense. Because I always thought that, like, if I showed my face, no one would want to watch me. But then when I started showing my face, I did, like, a really long stream hiatus for a bit. And when I came back, I actually was only showing my face, you know. The thing that I've realized is I'm a lot more confident in myself, which is awesome. People, because of the audience I've built, like, something I've noticed is you guys, for the most part, don't give a shit about what I look like in real life. And that's kind of important to me, you know? I don't want to be known for being, like, I don't know if this is going to sound weird. I don't want people to just watch me because I'm hot or because they think my model's hot. Yeah, that can bring people in the door, sure. But, like, I want to be known for my content, you know? I don't want to just be like, I don't know, you know? Like, and I have had people, like, they see me on Twitter in real life and they're like, oh no, Evie's hot. But, like, that's the thing, is it's like, I don't know, you know? I feel a lot better about it now than I used to, but even so, I think I am probably gonna primarily do VTuber streams just because I found that even though I don't feel opposed to showing my face per se, it's one of those things where I feel more comfortable making content when I don't show my face. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when I'm showing my face, I'm constantly worried, like, what if this is a bad angle? What if I look like shit? What if there's something in my teeth? You know, that kind of thing.
Are you looking for a fight, huh?
Oh, I need Bush here. I need Bush. Hi, volleyball. Thank you for the posture check-in. Hi, Jay. Ooh. But that's the thing, is it feels like I could create more, I can focus more on creating good content by being a VTuber rather than worry about, like, what if I look like shit? Stuff like that, you know? But I'm not opposed to doing IRL stuff, and I want to do, why is Bush not working? Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, I'm about to be pelted, by the way. Just a warning. I'm about to be yeeted. Let me hydrate. I deserve that. Oh, wait. Let me just, like, put, like, this on the thing. And they should just walk into it, you know? But, yeah, I want to do more IRL stuff. It's just one of those things where it's, like, I don't know, you know? I like being able to... I don't even know how to say what I was going to say. Just whatever. It's kind of upsetting that I can't give back to the world in some way. The thing is I feel like sometimes giving back doesn't need to be a big grandiose thing, you know? You don't have to, like, how do I say this? Giving back can just be being yourself and being nice to people, as silly as it sounds. I feel like we live in a world where people, especially post-COVID, people are really mean for no fucking reason, you know? People can just be dicks, right? And I've seen it a lot on TikTok and YouTube, you know? So I feel like just being nice and patient to people goes a long way. You know, I feel like sometimes I open my TikTok comments, and I don't get a lot of hate comments on TikTok. I definitely did on YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts did not like me. But that's the thing, is it's like, I feel like every time I get a comment that's like, I really enjoy your content, you're really funny, you deserve more viewers, or like something like that, it makes me really happy, you know? And it's like one of those things where it's like, it's a little thing, you know, but it makes me feel really good, you know? So even if you can't support like the streamers and content creators you like financially, sometimes just saying like, hey, you're doing a good job goes a lot farther than you think it is, you know, because content creation can be really, like, I don't want to say it's like difficult per se, because it is in its own way, you know, but it's like, it's easy to kind of get down on yourself with content creation, because it's a very personal thing in a way, because you're putting yourself out there so much, you know? So like, I'm not the type of person, like, I don't really care that much about numbers. I'm just glad that people are here, you know? I'm just glad that there's people coming out to watch me, you know? But it's easy, and I've seen a lot of people kind of correlate their self-worth with their numbers on Twitch. And that's not healthy. Like, point blank period. It's just not healthy, you know? And I guess it's one of those things where, like, I get why people do it, but ultimately, I don't know how to phrase this, you know? Like, I get why people get down on themselves and get self-conscious, and it's a hard thing to... It's a hard thing to unlearn, you know? But no one's gonna blow... Like, do people blow up overnight? Yeah. But I guess it's one of those things where if you have a day that's like a bad stream or whatever, you know, that doesn't correlate to your self-worth. Sometimes algorithms are just not favorable. Sometimes Twitch's numbers are down. It's not a you thing, you know? And that's the thing too, is ultimately, if you go into content creation, I saw a really good tweet about this. If you go into content creation with the intention of, I'm gonna blow up, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, and that's the only thing that will make you happy with making content, you're not gonna enjoy making content. Just point blank period. You're not going to. Oh, fuck, Golden Claw. Wait, why am I here? I don't need to go in here. Why the fuck am I in here? I can get the cherry and stuff, but I feel strange about that since I'm on benefits. I don't know, it makes me think it isn't my money. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is your money, you know? And you have the right to use it however you'd like, you know? It's okay to, in a way, it's like, almost like a circle, right? People give back to help you, and you can give back to help other people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know? Oh, thank you, Bunch. I appreciate that, you know? But that's the thing, right? does it help me a lot when people support me financially with streaming and stuff? Absolutely, you know? But I never want people to feel like it's a necessity. Oh, Bunch, thank you so much. I feel like that was poorly timed on my part. But that's the thing. Thank you so much for the gift subs, Bunch. I really appreciate it. I don't want anyone to ever, like, feel like I don't want people to feel like I will not appreciate their love and support if they cannot support me financially, right? That's not a requirement to be in an EB game stream, and it never will be, you know? So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. It's been kind of a weird stream today. It's been kind of a weird Skyrim Sunday, but I think that's okay. You know, my brain's been kind of all over the place, and it's funny because I felt like I was all over the place last night during the Fallout stream, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna, wait, what is this? Winterstone Castle. Wait, I remember this. We went here with,
Girl boss.
we went over here, LJ, thank you, or LJ, I can't fucking read. Thank you for the follow. You're not guys like I keep Girl Boss. We went here with our old character. I remember this. How do we get this castle? I want this castle. I want, oh, thank you for the bits game. I feel, wait, I can buy it for 40,000? Oh my god, the housing market's in shambles. But thank you for the bits, gamer. I appreciate it. I feel bad people giving subs and bits after I say, like, you don't need to support me financially. But thank you. I do appreciate it, and I try to put it back into the stream.
Hello, friend.
As much as I can. Sometimes I do use it for, like,
Until next time.
groceries and stuff to help out with things like that, you know. But I try to put as much of it back into the stream as I can, you know. But thank you, I appreciate you guys a lot. But yeah, I even, like, during the fucking what's it called, the Fallout stream, I was like, I need to make sure I take my meds on stream days, because I used to not take my ADHD meds on days that I stream, and now I'm like, I should really do that. So how much money do we have now? 15,000. That's definitely not enough, but we have a lot of stuff to sell. You know what? Let's go to a hold. Let's see what we could sell, because I want this house. I want this house. I really do. Now, I know what I want. I know what I want, and I have a plan, okay? Okay, unrelated, right? But I used to do karate, okay? I used to take karate lessons when I was younger, and they had, like, this, like, Warriors Creed thing that we had to say every time, and I still remember it. Hi, Taco! Welcome in. It was, like, I don't know. It was the dumbest shit. Like, it was, like good, like, they called it, like, the Warriors Creed, but it was honestly just generally good life advice. Honestly, it was like, we also had, like, hand signs we had to do with it. If I was face cam streaming, I'd show you, but it was like, know what you want, have a plan, take consistent action, review your progress, and renew your goals. And it's like, I don't think that's gonna help me, like, kick anybody's ass more effective. Oh,
No theatrics. No.
Are you guys okay? This is who's gonna clean up this mess? Who's gonna clean up this mess?
Done talking about this.
This place looks like shit. You guys got.
Watch what you're doing.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Anyway, can I buy shit? They're having a domestic dispute. It happens. Honestly, I love the way the River Road Trader looks with these mods. But anyway, it's like, we had, like, hand signs and stuff for it, and, like, that's not, like, that's not gonna help me kick anyone's ass. That's just good advice, generally. What do you have for sale? I'll worry about the Golden Claw later.
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
I'm so glad I added mods to make dudes look good, too, because It was so, as someone who's bisexual, it was so frustrating having the girls look so pretty and then my dudes look like shit. So since we're not doing Legacy this playthrough, we're just gonna sell the fake cards. Let's see, collectible Debella figurine. Sure, we'll sell that. Sell our rocks. We don't need those. Sell that. Oh god, he's out of money. Shit. Okay. You can take that. You can take that. You can take this one. You can take this one. Let's see. Rhodonite, you can take that. Okay, you have 17 money left. Okay.
I better get back to cleaning the store.
Yeah, you.
What a mess.
You do that, bud. You do that. Who yassified this man? Me. I just like Skyrim men all vaguely all have vaguely out of shape dad bods for some reason. Don't get me wrong. I love the out of shape dad bods. I really do. But like, I want more diversity. I want the men of Skyrim. Okay, I want the men of Skyrim to have just as much diversity as the ladies of Skyrim. Okay, I want, like, listen, we need more. I want my women to be hot and I want my men to be hot. Okay, is that too much to ask? Honestly. All right, let's go. I love Whiterun. I really do love the way Whiterun looks. We are running Legacy of the Dragonborn, but we're not doing it this playthrough. We're saving Legacy of the Dragonborn for YouTube. But let's see how much shit I can sell to people. They're probably not open yet. Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
6
claim to
a.m.
be the
Oh,
best
hey!
blacksmith in Whiterun. Yorland Greymane.
There you are. Hey.
Have you met my father?
Okay.
He's a steward
Oh, I
of the
can't
Dragon's
sell to her
Reach.
yet. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry. Let's do just like this. We'll just like wait for 3 hours and hopefully we can sell shit to people. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of feel bad. We haven't accomplished a lot this stream. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are having fun.
Yorland Greymane.
Okay, anyway,
Gaslight
can I?
Gatekeep
Oh, Dan,
Girl
thank you so much
Boss.
for the follow. Welcome to the stream.
All I
You're now
ask
a
is a fair
Gaslight
chance.
Gatekeep Girl Boss. Welcome in, gamer. But yeah, I don't know. We say like there is no such thing as a chill EB game stream, but maybe today is the day we get a chill stream. Who knows? Oh no, he's hot. Literally. To be fair, Wolfbirth has always been hot. Okay, like he's always been slaying since day one. Okay, what do you have for sale?
The finest weapons and armor.
Cool. Okay. Take. I want my elven armor. Wait, elven armor of the voice. Oh, well, we'll get rid of this one. He has always been daddy though. You're right. Let's see. We're not gonna be using these anymore, and they're heavy. And we're not doing museums, so we'll just yeet them. Honestly, this was for my follower, but it's also a lot. Like this was for one of my wives, but it's also a lot of money. So we can just get her a new helmet. We have helmet at home. Yeah, these are really expensive.
There you go.
He did make me a sandwich.
3 sandwiches.
That's
Only because I was
crazy.
making them before you told me to.
I'm sorry. I won't sexualize you anymore.
At least I can see levers.
Shut up.
Anyway.
I love you, David.
Likely story.
Likely story. Perfect gift for your wife as an edgy black Centurion helmet. I don't know. If a man gave me a cool helmet, I'd take it, you know? Anything else I could sell? He can't afford the rest of my wares. We'll get rid of those, Because this is clearing up a lot of our inventory space, too. So, like, fuck it,
Good
you
doing
know?
business with you.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Let's leave out here. I don't think we're gonna be able to sell enough shit to get the 40k we need, but we're definitely gonna get there. But now I know what house I want, okay? I swear to God, we need like an NPC. We need the Property Brothers in Skyrim, okay? I need someone to show me all of my house options, and I need to pick the best one, right? I need the Property Brothers. I mean, they mod like celebrities into Skyrim all the time, right? Usually it's for purposes that are not very kosher. But like, why can't we mod the Property Brothers into Skyrim? Okay, shut up. I hate this man. Okay, can I give you the helmets? Will you take those? Yeah, because these are the heaviest. Yeah, take that. God, it's gonna be hard to find someone that's gonna buy that. I don't know why I have this underwear. Let's see. Take that. Take that. I do want my Talos amulet just to, well, I guess I don't really need it. Let's see. What? The merchant stows underwear away for the bandits. The merchant stows amulet Talos away for the bandits. What does that mean? Does that mean it's not like displayed in here?
Hey!
Oh shit! I didn't. Sorry. Oh fuck.
Get your thieving hands off that!
Sorry, I didn't mean to grab. I was just looking. I was just browsing. Okay. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Okay.
You know nothing. Nothing.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, let's go over here and see if we can sell some more shit. Because I might just bounce from hold to hold and be like, will someone buy my helmet? It's lots of money and I want to buy a castle. I would like to buy a castle, please. Okay. Hi.
Pardon me, but do I detect a case of the rattles?
No. I'm going to kill chaos now.
So you're
Fair.
interested in my potions
let's
and
see.
ingredients?
Bandit, what? I don't think I should sell her a severed head. I'm gonna be honest. That's probably a no-no. Severed head, who wants it? Okay, we don't need, that could be useful, so, we won't do that. We don't do blocking. Oh, elixir of acrobatics. Okay, maybe we will keep that. Essence of the, oh, that's the dick bigger potion. Okay, we'll get rid of that. That's the dick smaller potion. Definitely don't need that. Well, maybe I should have took the dick bigger potion. Because I remember Ulfric had a bigger dick than me, and it made me kind of upset. But I already sold it, so whatever. We definitely want to get rid of that. I'll get rid of these. I'll keep one of the sneak potions. I don't think I need 11 restore or resist frost potions. I think I'll live. Potion of true shot, potion of strength, solution of lasting potency. I'm gonna be honest, I thought that was gonna be like another sex thing. Is there anything else? Let me see if I can cook anything and get money. Because I want money. Isn't there a merchant that literally says stamina potions are popular with young men? Probably, honestly. Bonk. Okay. Salt and are slowing ingredients. The potion is... What the fuck is that? I can't read, man. I'm illiterate, okay? Alright, let's see if I can... Is there anything else I can, like, make from here? This is my strat for making potions. I just click random things and see what happens. Some men have bigger dicks than other men, but all women have bigger balls than men. That's true. My balls are massive. Okay, let me see this.
I have several elixirs for sale.
There we go. Death bell. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Let me sell this. What do you mean what?
An alchemist then.
What do you mean what? What's the problem? You don't want me to talk about my big massive balls on stream? What's the issue with that? What's the problem? You don't want to talk about... In this house, listen, in this house, we respect and love girl cock, okay? I will not be addressing that again, okay? We love girl cock in this house, right? Right? Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything else I can sell that I made? That's fine. Okay.
Until next time.
Let's see. Just so happened that women's balls are not in the crotch yet. Well, you don't know me. You don't know me. But let's see. Is there anyone else I can sell to that'll take, like, big shit? Kenny, I worry about you. Listen. I may lack social skills, but it makes me funny, okay? So it's like a net gain, okay? Can you sell stuff to the Greymanes? That's not so... Why are you running? Wait, are you good? Oh, that's my follower. That's right. Okay. Because you can't sell and collect without the L. Hell yeah.
What could it mean?
I don't think you could sell to the Greymanes, because I feel like they'd have enough money to buy my shit. You know? Because isn't their forge, like, past this? Like, I don't think they actually sell shit to the public. Or maybe they do. I don't know. Let's see. Worst they can say is no. Because I want to get rid of... How much money do I have? We're, like, halfway there. We're over halfway there for how much money we need for the castle. You know? Let's see. Hello!
My poor Frally, I think Thorald's still alive.
Oh, here we go. Okay, what do you got for sale? Perfect. Oh, God, he still doesn't have enough money to buy my fucking helmet. How much is my helmet? Oh, wait, that's his shit. I was almost about to buy shit. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's almost $5,000. Jesus Christ. Okay. Shit. Well, I guess we'll have to save our money. Can I take out a loan to buy a house in Skyrim? Can I get a mortgage? Like, I just want the castle, bro. I mean, I guess I probably could turn in... I got distracted. I was doing a whole ass other thing. I was supposed to get rid of warlocks, and then I started looking at real estate. Okay. Salt and death bell flower, the slowing ingredients. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, where the fuck is the warlock thread? I got distracted. It's all the way over here? Oh, fuck. Okay. Wait, what's Moonstone Castle? We have options. Wait, let's check out the other castle. I want to see what's going on with the other castle. Maybe that castle's cheaper. Okay, you gotta compare so we get the best offer. Okay? I don't know anything about buying a house. I live in a basement apartment, but like, my mom says you have to negotiate. Okay, so maybe I can negotiate and be like, well, I got this offer on another house. You know, maybe I can figure something out. All right, hello, Mr. Mud Crab. Hello, Mr. Mud Crab. Hello, Mud Crab. Bye, Mud Crab. Start by one thing and get distracted by 10 other things. I don't know. Here's the thing: is I just like feel bad. Like this is gonna sound stupid, probably. You guys are probably gonna think I'm dumb as hell. But like, if I'm not like off my shits, losing my mind, I feel bad, and I feel like I'm not like being entertaining enough. Because I know a lot of people really look forward to SKYRIM Sunday, and I want to make sure like people have a good time, because I know a lot of people like it, you know? So I feel like if I'm not being, like, completely feral, people aren't gonna enjoy it. And we've got, like, off topic a lot this stream, and I am not as chaotic today just because I'm kind of out of it, I'll be honest. I don't know why. We already do think that, okay, you know, fair. Like, that's the thing, is, like, as a streamer, if I, like, am like slow at anything, like even with the lever bit, I'm like people are gonna think this is boring, and people are gonna be mad at me because I'm stupid. But I don't know, you know, I want to make sure. I guess the way I see it is like you could be spending your time doing literally anything else, and you're sitting here watching me. So I want to make sure you're like getting the most out of it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I always feel low-key kind of guilty whenever I do more chill streams, because I feel like people, hey, leave that rabbit alone! I think it's already dead, but okay. I tried to do a good deed, but whatever. I feel like we haven't come over here very much often, honestly. Yeah, where are the warlocks? You know what I mean? I'm also eating pizza and making my new Palpatine. Ooh, well that sounds fun. I want pizza. Well, I have my sandwiches. I still need to eat my sandwiches, but I think they're still hot, and I'm afraid to eat them. Who are you? Oh, you're like a whole guy. Okay, you need to go. What? Are warlocks gonna be considered, like, undead? Will Witch Bolt work on him? Oh my god, it did, like, oh my god, it just, like, barely tickles him. I mean, it is doing damage over time, but, you know, say something can say, Jeremy, I'm begging. Is your character named George Bush? No! No, it's Severin. He's my femboy. I love him. He's a good noodle. Wait, Spirit Bound, 100 health. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, you just do your thing, because I'm out of sauce. I am lost in the sauce. I got nothing. Well, I guess I could consecrate. Do you want some consecrate? Oh my god, I don't have consecrate money. Okay. Oh, you had a cool rock though. Okay, that worked out. Let's head in here and see what's up. Because they say warlock. I don't really know what that word means outside of like a D&D like Pathfinder context. And sometimes in Sky... Wait, what? Wait, is that Moonstone Castle? Wait. Okay, this castle's gonna be way more expensive. Okay, let's clear this out, and then we'll look at the castle as a treat, as a reward, okay? Let's try that. Alright. Damn girl, you got an amazing rack of ribs. Hey, I went to Outback Steakhouse, and I tried their ribs, and they were actually very good. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that's dying like... Oh no, it's doing damage over time. Where's my Spirit Fire? That's what I want. Spirit Fire was like... Sunblast, that's what it was. Sunblast is like OP, okay? Are these gonna... Yeah, okay, so the Storm Mage are not... Oh, shit, okay, yeah, everyone here, be strong! Be strong, King! Visions of Healing, Curses Random Foes, Absorb... Yeah, okay, let's do that one. Oh, and that one's cheap, too. Perfect! Yes, give me your sauce! Give me your sauce! Give me your sauce! Okay, oh shit! Okay, fuck. Fortify that health. Yeah, fortify that health. You want to fortify that health so bad. Give me more magicka. Oh, that had a negative effect. Fuck. Give me, healing. I would like to heal myself. Can I heal myself, please? I would like to heal myself. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to heal myself. Thank you. Oh, shit. Okay, okay, I have health again. What spells do I want to use? Fissure for, oh wait, oh, impenetrable growth. This one. Okay, that's not the right one. That just made a tree. Aura of thorns? No. Where's my thing? Bramble growth. There it is. Okay. Yeah, because you're not undead. So you should, wait, no, fuck. Okay, yeah. Okay, that was a little stressful. I'm gonna be honest. And now there's a tree in the way. God damn it, I accidentally spawned a tree. I mean, like, I love nature, but that's not what I wanted. Well, you have a lot of stuff. Oh, it was a Vigilant Stendar. Oh, rest in piss, I guess. I don't know. I think we have alarm already. Yeah, we'll keep going. Okay. At least I'm, like, full health again now. Is there gonna be, like, a trap here? I feel like there's gonna be traps here. I don't know why. It's just... okay. Okay. At least I'm all glowy. At least I'm like sparkly. Got that Edward Cullen shit going on. Okay.
Did you hear something?
Hi! It's me! I'm something! Okay, where are you guys? Hello? Why are you like moaning? Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you just don't pass here. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, okay? You just come right here through my wall. Yeah. Come over here. Just through the wall. Where the necromage? Where'd he go? Mr. Necromage? Ah! Okay, there they are. Okay, come over here. Come over here. You wanna come over here so bad. You wanna come over here so bad. Like just come over and say hi. Say hi. Come to my bush. Come to my bush. Okay, I think I killed the oh shit. Okay, there's a lot of them. Okay. Come here. Just walk forward. You'll love it. You'll love it. It'll be great. Oh, that's a human heart. Okay. Oh my god, it's still beating. Okay, it's fresh. Okay. And go away. Okay. Here we go. So that won't affect these ones. Okay. Where was it? My sunblast. It should affect. This should affect them. Oh my god. Okay, look at him. Okay, cool. Praise the sun, I guess. Let's see. Gold lockpick. Gold lockpick. I had to go through that door, though. Where'd my other guy... Thank you. Where'd my guy go? Is he dead? He can't be dead, right? He had to have been, like, just taking a chill pill. Hey, where did you come from? Get out of here. Oh, yeah, he's shooting. I think I saw him shoot. Okay, you were the big boss man, so you should have some good shit. Okay? There we go. All right, let's head over here. Brittle Shin Cavern. Oh, okay. What's in here? Because I think I can use thorns and shit here. I don't know where my... Okay, here. Do you need to be healed? Because you're... Oh my god, you're level 1. You're like 2 years old. You're a fucking baby. Okay, come here. Here. Wait, he resisted holy hands? Oh, that's the wrong one. I think I... Oh, shit. I almost tried to kill him. God damn it. Okay. Where's the healing hands, right? Do I not have healing hands? God damn it. Okay. Oh, Yumi! Welcome in, gamer! Oh, shit! There's a guy! Okay. Welcome in, ladies! Hello! My name is EB Games. I like beautiful women, dragons, and making bad choices. Yumi, how was your stream today? You're playing Unpacking? I refuse to play Unpacking because I know it's gonna make me cry, and I'm not a bitch. So instead of facing my emotions, I will just avoid them. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like my head. Oh, there's an ad break. Oh, that's very inconvenient. I love being dragged by beautiful women too. Yeah, just like me. Oh, thank you. Do you like my new pigtails? Normally my hair is a lot longer, but I think the pigtails are really cute. Can you leave me alone? I'm trying to feel myself. I'm trying to just shut up. Stop. Oh, god damn it. Get in the bush. Get in the bush, Bushman. Get in the bush. Get in the bush. Thank you for the follow. You're not guess I could keep girl boss. I can't believe I was interrupted. Oh, that was so rude, okay? But I hope you had a good stream, Yume. I hope you know. There's so much unpacking. It's crazy. I mean, I do believe that is what the game is about. No, I'm kidding. Oh, have a fun meal, Akiko. I appreciate the follow. Have a good day. How the fuck do I get up here? What the fuck? Where's the guy? I would love to fight a Dunmer. I don't know where the fuck you are. The bridge is... Ugh. Okay, there should be like a lever or something. Here we go. Wait, no. That's just a... Welcome in, Kirbichev. So a saying we have around here is, There is no good time to enter an EB game stream. It's just not possible. Are you gonna win? Oh shit. He is not going to win. Where's my thing that heals you? Visions of healing. Why don't you... No, that heals me. Aid? I can't heal you, but I can make you, like, feel really good about yourself and be a little bit more confident. I don't have healing hands. I deadass don't have healing hands, and I low-key think it's... I have every other fucking restoration spell under the sun, and I don't have healing hands. Don't I have something? It's caster and living allies. Do you want some... Oh, shit. Okay, did that help? It doesn't sound like it helps, but okay. Yeah, how do I fucking get over there? Oh, now I'm all slow because I've been impaled. How do I... Where's the little lever thingy? There's ship... Oh. Sorry, I got distracted by the little ball of light. I'm like a cat. Where the fuck is the lever? The lid. The lid. The lid. Where... How do... I don't want to hide from you. I want to beat your ass, but you're all the way... Oh, fuck. I guess we'll go the long way. Okay, that's fine. That lets you self-cast targeting spells on enemies. I'm not sure if I do, actually. I guess we'll go this way. Hi! Oh, shit. Okay, that's the wrong spell. Where's my bush? My bush, my bush, my bush. Bush, bush, bush. Bush, bush, bush. There we go. Just walk. Oh, shit. Oh, you don't want to kill me. You don't want to kill me so bad. I'm so... Oh, that's the wrong fucking... Oh, okay. I have too many fucking spells, dude. I have way too many spells. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Healing? Healing. Yeah, there we go. Oh, let me heal myself real quick. And you just walk right over here, bud. You just walk into the... Just praise nature. Isn't nature cool? Isn't nature sexy? Yeah, just walk into the nature. You'll love it. You'll love it. It's like a national park in here, okay? It's like the Grand Canyon up in here. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I have no idea if I said your name right. I apologize. But thank you for the follow. You're not guest like Geeky Girl Boss. Welcome in. And I'm a bitch. What do you want? Are we just stating the obvious here? Okay, whatever. Are you? Oh shit, you're alive. Okay. That's the. Let me just. Thank you. Okay. He has some cool. Oh. Okay. I was worried his dick was gonna pop out. Gonna be honest. So that doesn't get me up to the top thingy. The top thingy. I hear that guy still like sounding off about how like I'm a pussy, but it's like, dude, I would fight you if I knew how to follow a map. Okay? Oh wait, here's the lever. Perfect. Okay, now that I have the bridge, now I can kick your ass. Okay, cool. I'm master of the arcane. Alright. Let's give this a try. He is a bit of a dork, but that's okay. We can all, you know, be dorks sometimes. Are you dead? Stop that. Okay, you know what? You just take a chill pill. Nature! Oh, you want to be nature so bad? Cool. Okay. That's what happened the last time I went to Yellowstone. Alright, let's see what's over here. It says there's more warlocks over there. There's a lot of bones. There's a bandit over here, I guess. But he was, vaporized. Ooh, lever number 2. What'd that do? Now that I have the bridge, I can make you my bitch. True, true. Okay, hopefully we can clear this out. And hopefully there's not, like, something weird over here. And I can just bush. Bush! Nature! 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 God, it's so fucking OP! I don't remember this place. I don't know if it's, like, modded in or anything like that. You just, oh my god, you have so many, like, friends. Okay. Cool. Alright, well, we eliminated the warlock threat, I guess. That's fun. Is there any, can I disenchant anything for that sweet, sweet free XP? We'll get rid of these. I definitely don't want to get, oh, Jesus Christ, it's so much money. These look really cool, though. I don't want them, but they look really fucking cool. We'll get rid of them, though, because I don't need them. The cave is, let me see. Brittle Shin Cavern, that's where we're at. We were here to eliminate a warlock threat, apparently. For, Helgen Reborn. That's what it was. Hi, Fairy! Welcome in, gamer. Let me see. Conjure skeleton. There we go. There we go. Okay, I think we can just... Is there a shortcut to leave here? Or do I have to walk my happy ass all the way to the front? Okay. Looks like we're taking the long way. So now that
Deep girl boss.
Harry Balls to Sinky 3. Welcome to the stream. You're not gaslight gatekeep girl boss. Can I just call you Stinky? Like, there's a lot of moving parts to your name, bud. Like, I'm not gonna remember to say all of them. Like, do I have to say like the numbers too? Like, but thank you for the follow, gamer. Let's go. Oh wait. Oh. Sorry, I got distracted looking at ass. Let's see. Yeah, this is where we came from, so I don't think there's anything else over here. So I think we can just leave. I totally fucking forgot about this chest, like, entirely. Okay. Let's leave, and I want to see the castle. There was a castle, and I want to check it out, because we're on the real estate market right now. Okay, we're looking for a house for all of my wives. One of my wives is stuck in a wall, but we'll figure it out. Okay, I don't know where my wives are, genuinely. And it looks like Follower Framework doesn't either. So we may have to... I think I can summon my spouse, though. I don't know where she is, but apparently there's this big-ass castle over there. Was it Moonstone Castle? Yeah, what's going on here? Because the other castle was 40,000 stepdom. Stuck in a wall. I mean... There's so many things I'm learning today that are fetishes. First, the 3 boobs, then the then the dangly nipples, and now being stuck in a... Well, that one's less surprising. How much is this one? This one's also 40,000? Wait, this one's pretty. Oh, and you get guards? Oh, wait, you get hot ladies as guards. The other ones you got, like... Okay. I need to spend money. I need to... Well, what's over here? Wait, what is this? What is this? Is there like a little kumbaya happening over here? Jeffers Stones? Huh. That's the thing, is I thought I knew how to get Misty back, but I was wrong. Yeah, what is this? What is that? I don't know. It would be terrible if anyone did anything to me while I'm in this vulnerable position. Taco, thank you so much for the follow. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. You are now also a gaslight gatekeep girl boss. Can you go through the door with a plate or something like that? I don't know, bro. There's a barely dark farm. Okay. Oh, that's a name. How much shit do I have to sell, realistically? Can we make 1,500 doubloons? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna... Who said I was... Well, listen. I saw you in chat earlier, and then you followed. So I made the assumption, but, like, I don't know, man. Oh, okay, thank you. I don't know. I was talking to David, and he's like, you know that people sometimes follow people just to, like, hate them, right? And I was like, huh? Because I was like, yeah, I hit like 26K on like TikTok, and I want to post this thing for my followers. And he's like it was something about me talking about something, kind of like I don't know what it was, but he was like, yeah, do you know that there might be people that like hate watch you? And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Thank you for the idea of the posture check though. Okay. Fantastic. I did notice that once I made a TikTok, something I did notice. So a while back I made a TikTok that got me a lot of shit. Because I made a joke about how when you've been playing heavily modded Skyrim for like years now, and you switch to Fallout New Vegas, it kind of looks like shit. Like that was the joke I was trying to make, is after playing Skyrim for so long, Fallout New Vegas kind of looks like shit, which let's be honest, it does. It's a nuclear wasteland. I got so much shit for that. Oh my gosh, so many people were like, well, yeah, duh, it looks like a wasteland, you stupid fucking cunt. And I was like, yeah, people got so offended that I shit-talked New Vegas. I like New Vegas. I like it. Bro, I had someone write a 2-paragraph essay about how I should be raped and murdered because I talk shit about Fallout New Vegas. And something I've noticed is I think it's really funny. I think it's hilarious. But every time I post a Fallout New Vegas VOD, it has 1 dislike. And I'm like, let's check the last one. Let's check the one I just posted and see if it has a dislike. Because if it does, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. Let's see, YouTube Studio. Yeah, it was weird, but I did not understand why people were so heated about, like, I think I enabled the term cunt. Yeah, it's gotta be the same person. Okay, there's no dislikes on the New Vegas VOD so far, but on the last one I posted, There's like one, and like on the last 3 there were like 1. I had to like put it like on friend. Fuck. I had to put it on friends only because people were getting like really mean. Like people got so offended for no fucking reason, and I'm like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just objectively looks like shit because it does. But people were like, oh my god, it was crazy. I was like, bro, chill out. I do need cough drops, but it's gotta be the same person. Again, I don't dislike Fallout New Vegas. I'm very much enjoying it. But compared to this, it looks like ass. It just does. Would it look better if I modded it? Probably, but I don't feel like it. This is my first time playing New Vegas, so I want to play it organically. Heaven forbid. God, none of these bitches have any money. Like, you can't see it. She only has 1,000 doubloons. Okay, this is... I just want money. I will sell you things for money, but she doesn't have any fucking money. Okay.
Back to bits and pieces anytime.
But yeah, I was just like, here's the thing, is sometimes I get shit. This is the one thing I don't understand about the internet. Like, it is okay to dislike something. It is okay for people to dislike me, right? It is okay to find something cringe and stupid. That's fine, right? Everyone has preferences. But people will like, I don't know what it is these days. You can, it's illegal to be cringy on the internet now. Like, I cannot imagine. I feel so bad for kids now, right? Like, if I was 15 right now, oh my god, that'd be fucked up. Okay. Hi Laura, welcome in. But
You're a traveler.
sometimes like people will blow up. Oh, I have been to Whiterun. Oh, it's this thing.
Wonderful. I hadn't really hoped to run into someone.
I know your son is dying, but
My daughter Fura was a
never, or your daughter, whatever.
I haven't heard from
Oh
her
yeah,
lately.
okay, actually that's a good idea. I should level up and get the merchant's perk. Let me do that. So Magicka, it's under speech, right? Yeah. But yeah, it is illegal to be cringy now. Okay? It is illegal to be silly. God forbid. Wow, I have nothing in fucking speech. I have absolutely shit. Okay, let's do that. And then we're good. Okay.
It's good to see a fresh face.
What do you have for
wouldn't
sale?
have
I
happened to
don't
come
care
to
about your daughter
take a
right now.
look.
I just want money so I can buy a castle. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like, it's so weird to me because it's like, it's gone from like it's one thing to like obviously you shouldn't leave hate comments, right? But like, it feels like nowadays, if you don't like someone, it's not just being like hating them or making fun of them. If you think someone's annoying, people like full on dox them now. And that's so crazy to me. It's like, gee, why? Like, it's like, it's illegal to be cringe now. And it's like, listen, I may be cringe, but I am free. Let me actually, I don't have a lot to sell her, so I don't think I'm gonna.
My niece died. Things won't be the same without
Please
her.
stop trauma dumping. I just want to make money.
Take a look.
But yeah, I just think that's crazy, you know? And it's like, again, not everyone has to like me or my content. That's fine, right? I know I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. That's just how the world works, you know? But like, Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. If the writer's strike ruined Spider-Man 2, I mean, listen, the Writers Guild thing is like, if they just paid people the right money, then we wouldn't have this. I may be cringe, but that makes me free. Yeah, I am cringe, but I am free. Literally though, the world, once you stop, and this is something I've learned as I've gotten older, right? As I've gotten like into my 20s a little bit more. I'm 23. And when I was younger, I used to care so much about what people thought about me. The less you give a shit about what people think, the happier you will be. Genuinely, the happier you will be. It's just like, I'm having a good time here. And I hope that my viewers are having a good time. And you know what? The people that give me shit and call me cringe, they weren't going to watch me anyway. You know, I'm not going to try. Yeah, you learn that being embarrassed is a waste of energy, right? I'm not going to try. If people find me and they want to watch me, they'll come find me, right? I'm not going to convince someone why they should or should not watch me, you know?
Oh,
I don't.
What delight. Another charming customer.
Can you fuck off, actually, and die? Let me see. What do you have for sale?
Breaches.
You talk about being rich. She doesn't have enough money for my helmet. She talks so much shit about how I'm poor, and she can't buy my fucking cool ass helmet. Okay. I see how it is, you bitch. Okay. We almost have 30,000 gold, by the way. okay? I figured if I went to Solitude, you know, Solitude's where the money is, right? I figured they would have enough money for my helmet. But they don't.
Finally.
I will kill you in Minecraft. Okay, anyway. Jesus Christ. I thought I would have enough money. Okay? It just, Alright, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, people are wild. And you know what? That's just how it's gonna be. Are we ever gonna find someone that's gonna have enough money to buy that fucking hat? I genuinely don't know if we will. Genuinely. I don't, like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Do we have anything else to sell, really? I mean, not a ton, honestly, besides from some, like, bits and pieces. That's the shop name. Here and there, honestly. A dude actually got arrested by pushing his luck with the in Minecraft meme. Yeah, here's the thing, is I feel like it's like if you say it and you're like in the circumstances I say it in, like you're just like it's clear that you're joking around. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes people will say like really crazy shit and then add in Minecraft into it, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's all about context. Okay, so here's the thing. I want money. I want to buy that fucking castle so bad, okay? I don't have any money. I need 10,000 more doubloons for it, you know? I don't know. No one has any fucking money. I just want to sell my helmet. My helmet will give me like half the money I need. But no one has any fucking money. Okay. Well, I don't know. I got very distracted. I'm gonna be honest. I do want to finish Helgen Reborn, but it is getting kind of like stale to me. I don't know what I want to do with the rest of this playthrough, though. I'm gonna be honest. We do still need to. We do still have some other stuff to do, and I do want to get my house. Rika is still missing. We literally fucked her, and then she just disappeared, which is like, I guess I'm just that unappealing. Like we literally were just like, bye. I don't know. Hi, Carla. Welcome. Make the biggest harem as possible. That's the thing, is all my wives are gone. We're gonna have to find the wives. So let's go back here, actually. Where was it? It was NFF, right? So follower framework? Yeah, here we go. Activity. Allow. Let's see. Follower stats. Behavior. Home bases? Don't have any home bases right now. They left it. I had to dismiss them because they accidentally pushed someone off a cliff and caused the world to end. Yeah, it says Misty's my only follower, but she's disappeared. Where is she? Where is everyone? Where are they? I'm gonna have to get all my wives back. Yeah, where's my actual wife? Does it not say anything? I got married. I got married in Skyrim. And it's only showing me fucking Misty Skye. Yvette. I just want Yvette back. Yvette! Oh, she's at the Winking Skeever. Oh my god. 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 Come here. We can call to her. Yvette. Yvette. Yvette.
You and I, we're the only people in Skyrim worth loving. That's what I think.
Oh my god! Oh my god! My wife! My wife! Oh, my wife! My wife! My wife!
Lead the way.
Wait, hold on! I forgot that Yvette runs. Oh, she's so gorgeous! Look at her without the helmet. She's so gorgeous. Chat, if you're new, this is my wife. This is Yvette. I would kill for her in Minecraft. I love her. Has the store made any money?
Of course it has. Would you expect any less of me?
Can she get Misty unstuck from the
This
wall?
is your
Who knows?
house,
Maybe. Okay. Well, she just gave us $600, which is nice. Let's see.
Let me know if you need anything.
Can I give her? Do I have any better armor to give her? No, not currently. That's fine. I'm wondering, my wife. Can we summon? Yeah, let's go back. I didn't know history was a thing. Can we summon all the wives back? Can we get the gang back together? Dude, we're getting the bang. God damn it. Dude, we're getting the gang back together. Okay, slots and history. Okay, Yvette. That's it. Okay, list of followers. Oh, they're Sanaya. Wait, and then Sanaya. Wait, I forgot my followers were carrying a bunch of shit. Sanaya. Where's she? Where is she? Sanaya. Okay, let's try this again. Hold on. Let me try it again. Mod configuration. I feel like we are missing some wives, but I think some of them might have died. Whoopsie. I can handle more than one wife. I die of flustered. Listen, my Riz is just incredible, okay? You just don't underestimate my Riz, okay? All right, let's see. More wives. Slots in history. Follower history. Bet. Sanaya. There we go. Tab. Call to you. Calling on exit. Okay.
Need something? Good evening.
Okay. Come back.
Lead the way.
Oh my god! They're here! My wives are back! Oh. We haven't got them all back. More wife. Why is Misty in a wall? So I disabled her for, okay. So here's the thing with Misty, okay? As I get my other wives back. The thing with Misty is she was so insufferable that she literally refused to not stalk me into, Forgotten City. And the reason we had to dismiss all my wives...
Something I can do for you?
More wife! The reason we had to, dismiss her was because my wives kept pushing the Jarl off a cliff and triggering the end of the world. So we disabled Misty because that was literally the only way she'd fucking leave me alone so I could go time travel. And now we don't know how to get her back. So we're gonna try to fix it. But that's where we're at. Okay, Clarissa. Clarissa, I think, is the last one. Okay. Oh, fuck. I didn't set her to call to me. Okay. I think we are still missing some wives. We're missing Inigo. I know we had Inigo too. But listen, we take that, okay? We fucking take those, okay? Calling on exit.
Is there something I can do for you? I'm bored. Nobody wants to have any fun with me.
Come back! Oh yeah, 2 of my wives are vampires. Okay, so.
Lead the way.
We have our wives back, okay? We got Clarissa. We got Sanaya. We got Velrossi. And we have my bottom bitch, Yvette. Alright, let's fucking go. What do you mean too many women? Why have 1 bitch when you can have 2? Why have 2 bitches when you can have 5? Why have 5 bitches when you can have 10? Okay? Shoot for the stars. How many slots are there in NFF? How many slots? 10 slots. Okay? We still have room for more wives. Okay? We still have room for more wives. Okay? So, here's what we're gonna need to do, is we're gonna have to wait for merchants to reset. But I think with all the shit in my people's inventory, we will absolutely be able to get a castle, okay? So I think we're just gonna have to, how are we gonna do this? 10 slots is 20 booba. Unless we have an outlier, like that 3-boob lady we talked about earlier. Oh yeah, we still have that one guy, I guess. Where else can we... You know what? Let's just go from hold to hold and see what happens. Oh, Queen! Thank you so much for the 50 bits! What am I saying? Of course you don't. I don't know if you knew that was going to be my bit sound. But if you didn't, that makes it funnier. But you did, and it is also funny. But thank you for the bits. Okay. Let's just do our little world tour of getting money real quick. Okay. Where haven't we been yet? We haven't been to Falkreath. Okay. But thank you for the follow, Queen. You are now a Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. And let's see if we can raise enough money to get a castle. But the question is, do we want Moonstone Castle or the other castle? I can't remember what the other castle was. Because Moonstone Castle was pretty, but it's kind of in an area that's really foggy a lot.
Did you see a dog out there?
Something for you.
No.
Oh well. The blacksmith is offering a reward for a dog he saw on the road.
Oh,
I was hoping you'd seen it.
I have not. You can save the game, kill a merchant, load the save. I mean, yeah, but like... I don't know, that seems like a lot of work. I also like the idea of taking my wives on a world tour. Okay, so we're now in Falkreath. Let me actually, I am taking, if you hear like pills rattling, it's because I'm taking my meds out because I'm going to eat when I'm done stream. And we're probably going to end in like half an hour, and I'm supposed to take my meds half an hour before I eat. So give me 1 second. Because I actually haven't eaten dinner yet today. Okay, it is 10:30 p.m. So I don't think anything will be open, but we've also had some really good luck before. Okay, yeah, it's not open. Let's get a little thingy at the inn, and then we'll go sell stuff later, okay? Who has shit we can sell, though? Be careful when having 10 cents of boo when the game starts acting real funny about that time. Okay, listen. If me having 10, because here's the thing, is every other... Excuse me? What? She's just... Are you okay?
What's a milk drinker like you doing up here? Go home to your mother.
Well, fuck you too then. Shit. Okay. What?
Like a good song.
The fuck is going on in here?
Excuse me, sir.
Legend!
I don't do this, but...
Wait, no! My twink! My twink! My twink! I was looking for this twink! Twink! Okay, we had Lucian in previous playthroughs, and I fucking loved him. My boy! Hello! Are you trying to flirt with me?
Flirt? No, I...
He's so cute! I need to get a replacer for him, because he's kind of ugly, and I want to make him cute.
Proposition for you.
Oh my god, we're getting so many new bitches today! This is fantastic! Okay, the gang's all here. Sounds like you're flirting with me.
No, not that kind of proposition. I meant I'd like to do business with you.
He is so male wife. He is so male wife.
Again?
Yes, what's your name?
Oh, thank the divines. Right, let's have another go.
Okay.
My name is Lucian Flavius.
Ooh.
I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur wizard, and something of a musician, though I suppose that's more of a hobby. I couldn't help noticing that you seem... how can I put this? Well acquainted with the less savory
If you hear me
side of
chewing, it's
Skyrim?
because I'm starting to eat my dinner while he's talking. I've seen a thing or two. Do you need help with something?
As a matter of fact, I do. I'm here in Skyrim on an expedition, academic mainly.
So he's a
I
nerd.
find the province simply fascinating. The flora,
Someone is
the
absolutely,
fauna,
like,
the
going off in the
winds,
background.
both Dwemer and Nordic.
Has anyone here played Star Sector?
Yes,
I have not.
Keep girl boss.
Trouble is, I'm really not much of a fighter.
Now wait a
I know
second.
few spells that can just about swing a
Who the
sword,
fuck?
but beyond
EB
that,
Games
I'm
underscore.
useless in combat.
Who the
Skyrim's
fuck?
no place for a milk drinker.
Impersonator?
Not on my own, anyway. So,
Wait a second.
someone to travel with.
At some point,
Imposter? Imposter? Excuse me?
I really do.
But then he went quiet, did
I have a clone.
when he met the shield maiden
I
Matilda, who said,
have a clone.
"Oh, you talking."
Do you come from the future or the past?
Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed.
Well, this is awkward. Anyway. Go on.
I suppose what I'm asking is, would you awfully mind if I tag along? I will of course compensate you most
My
handsomely.
wenches are having a great time in the background. Sure. How much we
Oh,
talking?
Shall we say 300?
The time traveling's real.
After that, I'll top you up every time we come across something.
Wait, he's gonna give me money? Oh, that's castle money.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
No obligations. Save that you take me with you and assist in keeping me alive wherever possible.
Okay. Sounds like a deal.
Oh, splendid. Here's your gold. This is going to be quite the adventure.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm Severin, by the way.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
He just gave me 300 gold to hang out with me. Damn, that's crazy. Hi, Marlang. Welcome in. Oh, I hope you have a good time at work. We got all our wives back, though, and we got a new male wife.
Sounds intriguing.
So, things are going good today. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I wanted to take a room. Yeah, it is fucking popping off in this inn. Jesus Christ. Can I rent a room, please?
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
It is popping off. Okay, thank you.
I'll show you to your room.
Yeah, isn't it? Are you okay? You're having a good time. I
But then he went
think it's over here.
when he
Yeah,
met
there's
the
Yvette.
shield-maiden
Okay,
Matilda, who
let's sleep. Jesus Christ, the inn is just absolutely busting this time of day. Everyone's popping off around midnight, and we will go sell shit tomorrow. Okay. Because I think it's possible that we might be able to get castle before we end stream. No, I'm not a pit. Wait, what? What do you mean use the bed? What does use the bed mean? I think I know where this is leading, but I want to know, so I'm just gonna... For science. Let's see. Clearly, I don't think this is gonna be... Ah!
Oh, you talk and you lie.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected there. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! That is that is more than we usually. No! That is a lot. What do you mean I can't reload? Usually it's not that usually it's not. Usually when I do shit like this, it's like very like subtle. Oh god damn it. Okay. Well. Oh damn, he's getting his. Okay, can I? David! Oh my god! Oh my god! He's going to town. Okay, get up. Stop. There is nothing else I need. David! David!
Yeah?
How do I make it stop? No! No! God damn it! No! They're like, oh my god!
Don't narrate it, Evie. Don't narrate it.
But
Let it happen.
I'm trying to press button, but it's on my.
Usually, no pad period is supposed to stop it. If that's not working.
There is no period. Exit, edit, HUD. Switch to manual control. What am I manually controlling?
You know what you mean.
The buttons are not work. I didn't think it worked every time I. Oh Jesus Christ! This is just like that. Lucian's just staring there. Like, I'm gonna like show you real quick. Like literally, like fucking, like you can't see like all of it. Oh wait, it's done.
What are you doing that for?
But this
Oh my. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh my god, that was. Oh my god, it changed my whole ass outfit too. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Okay, let's try that again. Oh yeah. Also, I don't have any legs. Fun fact. That's unique. It was very funny, but literally, like, I'm not gonna go into detail, okay? But they were like going to fucking town, and Lucian was just like staring. I've seen like shit before. I did not think it would go that hard. Well, he didn't last very long. We gotta work on that, bud. Well, let's go sell some things. What? Okay, that was certainly an experience. We'll say it was that. Well, do I get any like buffs for like getting my dick sucked? I feel like I should. Do I get any like staff control effect? What the fuck does that mean? Speed? I was honestly wondering if I was gonna get anything for like, I don't know.
Did you see?
He's observing for. He did say he was there for academic reasons.
Wandering near town.
No, I haven't seen a dog.
There's one out on the road.
I mean, is it really a modded Skyrim playthrough about graphic harem? It wasn't even my full harem. It was just me and my wife. And then everyone just stood there and watched. Which is like, good for you, I guess. But like, yeah, I can catch him.
Good.
But welcome in.
There's some gold in it for you if you succeed.
God damn it.
Here's the meat. Check the road just outside of town.
Okay, I just want to sell shit
Feels
to you.
good, but loyalty's better.
What's for sale?
Looking to protect yourself?
He has more money than some of the others, but still not enough for my helmet to sell. Yeah, it's valued at 5K. Well, let's see.
See me at my forge.
Do any of my wives have anything to sell? Hey, what's in your inventory?
Well, hey there.
What's in your inventory? Yeah, it was not the full harem. It was just Severin and his wife. Let's see. Where's the thing of like, need to trade some things.
What do you want me to carry?
Yeah, do you have anything I can take? So that's her weapon. We can, I don't need these, honestly. Oh, these are all hella expensive. We'll get rid of the cheap ones, but he really, okay, this one will sell. There is Excalibur. I don't know if I want to sell Excalibur. I kind of want to keep it for like sentimental reasons. You know? Okay. Lucian in the background furiously. Mans was invested, okay?
Take a look.
Alright, so he is 3K. I'll give you, what was the expensive one I had? This one, Rick Vard. No, I thought I had a different one that was like better. Yeah, you take Rickvard, the Axe of Whiterun, the Dwarven Sword of Grief, I guess. Do you want... He only has 900 gold left.
Good steel's worth
Oh,
every
what have you
something.
done?
Remember that.
Is anyone else holding anything? Ooh, hey. Oh, wait! Look at her
You
carrying...
always brighten my day. Can I help you?
Look at her carrying her little basket of flowers. She's so cute. Okay, what do you have? Do you have anything cool that I can grab?
What do you want me to carry?
She doesn't have a ton. She has her wedding ring. That's very cute. We'll take these stones to sell them. Does anyone else have
Let me
anything
know if you
cool?
need anything.
You just got here. He's in a tree. Where are my other wives? Because that's
What
the thing
can
is
I
I'm
do for
looking.
you?
Where's Clarissa? I don't know where she is. Oh, here you are. Hey, do you have anything I
What
can
can
sell?
I do for you, friend?
Do you have anything we could sell? We're looking for a castle. We need a castle for all our bitches. Let's see. Trade. There we go.
What do you want me to carry?
What do you have? The Clarissa. Okay, she doesn't have a lot, but her sword's
Let
cool.
me know if there's anything else you need.
Okay, do you have anything else? How much
Or
money do you have
bleeds,
left?
Skyrim. Take a look.
Let's see. Severin, he has the Imperial. I don't want to sell my bow just in case I might need it. Yeah, everything I have is expensive as hell. We're not going to use these ingots, so we may as well sell them, I guess. Yeah, that's all we got. Let's go to the general goods store and see what happens. That should be... We're not really going to get much from the alchemist, I think. There is a general goods store here, isn't there? There may not be in vanilla, but I feel like in modded... I think there's one modded in. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But we're in Falkreath now, if anyone knows. Yeah, I feel like there is. Would it not be? There it is. Okay, I see. Alrighty. Let's head over here and see if they'll take my money. How much money do we have now? Okay, we need 7,000 more for our castle. Okay?
Let me
If
know
we can
if
get...
you
I want
see
that
anything
castle
you
tonight.
like.
I want that fucking castle. Okay? Alright. How much do you have? Zoloft. I know it says Soloft. I kind of want to call him Zoloft.
Well met. Unlike my brother, I've no dislike of strangers. Met lots of them while I was a Stormcloak.
I don't care.
Oh,
Okay.
a bit of this and a
You
bit of
have
that.
not a ton of money either, but I can get rid of the dragon bone and the scales at least. And let's see, we have 5,000 more. Do you have the mod that adds increased gold? No, I do not, but I probably should get it. Let's just sell some of these since they seem to be worth good money. Yeah, okay. Kill him, he's a traitor.
Steal
I
anything
could.
from my
The
shop and you'll
Khajiit
regret
chest
it.
would give a lot of money. Okay? I'm not trying to call anyone out. I want the shopkeepers to give me their money. Let's head to Dawnstar, though. I think we've seen Dawnstar. I think we can fast travel there. We're on our world tour, so I can get a lot of money. Okay. Fast travel to Dawnstar. Where's the Khajiit chest? Where is that? I'm gonna take a... I might take it by one of my sandwiches. Exploiting it? No, I don't want to just add gold, okay? I'm a tradesperson, okay? By the mine next to a tree. Okay, well, let's see. God, she's so gorgeous. Like, can I... Here, I need to take a screenshot for the thumbnail for tonight anyway. Look alive, wives! Look alive! Okay, they kind of looked a little stupid, but that's okay. Oh my god, wait. Oh, I'm trying to get the shot. Here, where's the shot?
Wrong in the
Oh my god, look at them. Look at that. Look at my girl boss crew. Oh, where's the button? Okay. Yeah! Okay, there's the thumbnail. Okay, there we go. I wanted a cool girl. Look how slay they are. They're so, like...
Speak.
The mine on the right. Okay. That way you can sell all your expensive stuff. That's true. I don't know. How to smack quick load. Yeah. I wanted to try it, but I want to be a good noodle. Okay, I'm being a good noodle. So it should be the chest by here, by the mine. I think I know where they're talking about. Over here, right? Let's see. By a tree. So here's the mine. Here's tree. Is it like above it? Where's the chest? Because you said there was a chest with lots of money in it. It's in the ground. What? It's a glitch? Am I just... What? What if it's not there? Like, what if it, like, got fixed or something? Well, they don't fix Skyrim. I don't see it. Okay. Well, chat tells me where that it looked down. Okay. Down. down, down. Okay, by tree. It's like, we're supposed to be right here, right? Okay, come here. Come on, give me. Okay, that's my wife. Unofficial Skyrim patch, may I patch it? Yeah. We'll check again later, but for now we can sell our other shit, at least. Because it could have been patched, because I do have the unofficial Skyrim patch. Let's go in here and see what happens. I do have all the, I don't have all the good weapons. My carry weight's low, so I should be able to grab some.
Is there some way I can assist you?
Yeah, can you give me these things
What do you
back?
want me to carry?
Let's see, Erdochi, Excalibur. You still have a weapon, so that's good. We can sell this one. Why don't you stay with the Talon, because I think it's cool. Okay.
If you need any help, please let me know.
Northern Star Goods. And then we can sell some shit to the blacksmith, too. And I think maybe after this, we might have enough money for Castle, okay? Hi! Hello? Can I... What happened? How'd you get over there? Okay, bud. Hey.
What do you need?
I would like to buy... Oh, something's going on in the background. I would like to buy some things. Okay, let's see. How much money does he have? Oh, he got big money. Okay, we can offload a lot on this dude. We are absolutely getting enough. What's the big thing that I want? The helmet. Oh my god, the fucking... I have 2 helmet. Okay, take that. And then take, what other expensive shit? Why is he behind a prison door? Because he's been a naughty boy and he needs to sit in timeout. Let's see. We have 3K left. Let's see. What else can we sell? Dragon's Oath we can sell. Is there anything more expensive? What's the most expensive thing? He doesn't want shit for Excalibur. We'll do Dragon's Oath. Or this one. This one. Okay, and he's about out of money. But we do have castle money now. Okay, let's fucking go. Alright, so here's the question now. We have made it to castle money. Actually, do we have anything left over after castle money? Let's check. We have 44K gold, okay? You can see it right there. So I'm thinking, I did like Moonstone Castle. I didn't think it was bad, but I liked the first one we found better. You know what I mean? I like that one better. So here's, where are my castles? That's the, yeah. Did you lose your wives? I lost them because I had to dismiss them because they kept accidentally pushing a guy off a cliff and I needed him to be alive. But we have them back now, but welcome in, Stevie. Here's Winterstone. I think Winterstone's the one I did like. So let's look over there and see if we still like it. Because I think I like that one better because I think it was like in a nicer area weather-wise and it had the like pool and everything. I think we're gonna go for Winterstone. But Moonstone did have hotter guards. So, I don't know. But it's really cool. I mean, I could probably get hot guards for in here too. Oh my god, look, it's got its whole little like beekeeping thing. Oh, hey. Oh, that's a statue. Okay, well, it's still good. Still good. I think, it's snowing right now, but I really like the cherry trees. I don't know. We gotta do our Property Brothers walkthrough. Okay, it won't let us in, which is a little silly. Who are you? Are you, like, in charge around here?
Divine smile on you, friend.
He seems friendly. Okay. He's not a hot lady, but he seems friendly. I'd still smash. He's nice to me. That's, like, he's nice to me and attractive. That's my only criteria, really. Here's the thing, is I can deal with snow, but I don't know if I want fog, you know? Let's fast travel to Moonstone, and we will compare, and then we will make our decision. Okay, here's Winterstone. Where's Moonstone? Moonstone's all the way... Where the fuck's Moonstone? Moonstone. Find location. That's not... Fuck. I didn't mean to edit him. Okay, I'm trying to find Moonstone. Okay, fuck. Okay. Moonstone. Winterstone? I think Moonstone was out here somewhere. I think it was closer over here. Time affects it as well? That's true. Just want to get a look, you know? If I can't find the other one, then shit. Find... Can I... Here, filter. Moon. There we go. Moonstone... Can I... There it is. Okay, Moonstone... How did I not have Moonstone Castle unlocked? Here, we'll go over here and we'll unlock it and get the fast travel thing. And then we will compare. And then we will see what house we're getting. Okay, this is a big moment for us. We're buying a house for all our wives. This is big. Okay, this is big. Okay, Moonstone Castle. I don't know why we didn't... Oh, it's looking nicer now, so I guess it is. Moonstone Castle, I feel like you're getting more bang for your buck. I'm gonna be honest. It's a bit bigger, you know? Because both of them are 40K. You know what? Let's do Moonstone. Let's do Moonstone. Sold! Alright, we have it and we have the deed. Alright, who's ready for a house tour? Alright, let's check it out. Ooh, I can't go in there because if I do, I'm gonna get naked. What do bitches do with a castle? I don't know. So, okay, let's set their home base all here.
Well, hey there.
Hi. I'd like to talk about home.
Huh?
This place is your new home. And then let's gather here. This place looks like a good home base.
Excellent. I think you'll be glad that you made this decision.
And then also, send word to the others.
Of course.
Okay, so now all of them should know this is their home base. Thank you, bottom bitch. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's so pretty! Oh my gosh, I wish the fountain was a little bit more obnoxious, but I don't know.
What do you need, love?
What do you mean she's available to be married? We are married. Let's see. I think we're good. Does it have it set as home? Let me see. Mod configuration. I want to make sure I did this right before before we go in. Let's see. Where was it? Follower framework. Here we go. Home bases. Create base. Click here. Oh, is it just like here? Total followers at base. View set location. Home. Yes. Okay. Setting on exit. I don't know if I did that right. Seriously, thank you so much for the follow. You're now Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. I just bought a castle. Okay, so I think we set this as home.
Anything.
Okay, home base is updated, so I think we should be fine. I don't know. Sometimes I want to run polls that are entirely unrelated to stream. Thank you for the yeet. I mean, listen. Technically, you do have that privilege. It could, like, I don't know how spicy you want to be. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty. Wait.
I just can't wait to be a bride someday. Someday.
Well, once I... Wait, and I have, like, I can put my other bitches here? Whoa. Wait. Why does his face look so stupid right now? What are you doing with your... Why are you doing like a duck face type thing? You look so stupid. Why do you... You know what I said earlier about it's okay to be cringe? Not for this man. This looks dumb as hell. Okay. Well, at least it's pretty. Cole is causing problems, I see. Let's check out the rest of the house. I like the throne room. It's very cute. I love the carpets. I feel like so many of the like base-like castles are so like devoid of color. This is so pretty. I love the color. What's this? Door? Ooh! Ooh! This is very pretty. Okay, we now know that use bed means sex, so we won't do that. I can put shit on a mannequin now. Maybe I should have saved that armor, but that's okay. Ooh, these are cute. It is very elvish, though. Wait, what's this button? Enable or disable NPCs. Enable or Yes! Auto undress. Oh, wait, no, disable that. Yes, okay, we don't... Can I walk into a pool and not get naked? Can I walk... What is this poll? Ray versus Asuna? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Ray is getting beat out, clearly. Okay. Damn. Or no, Ray is winning. Oh, damn. Okay. This is very pretty, though. Okay. What else is in here? I want to explore. This is so gorgeous. I'm so glad we have a home base now, though. You know?
Nice place you've got here. It would be a shame if it were to mysteriously burn down.
Huh?
What? No, it really would be a shame.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Sir? Why is he gonna burn my fucking house down? I just bought this place. Listen. Inside thoughts. We don't. No. Okay, these are beds for my followers, I think, which is cool. Okay, I like this fireplace. The fireplace is very pretty. Okay, what else is in here? Let's see. Yeah, Lucian just chose violence, I guess. Did we go down this hallway? Ooh, what's this? Oh, it's like a garden. Wait, we can plant stuff. Wait, that's cute. I want to plant. We'll put some little flowers in here. That'll be nice. Okay, I guess 3 can go in each of them. So we'll do that. And then it looks very cute. Okay, plant. Plant. Oh, this is gonna be so cute. I love when Skyrim can feel like a dress-up game. I love being, here's the thing, I love being girly in Skyrim. I love cute outfits, I love cute boys and girls, and I love just like, oh my god, this is great. I'm having the time of my fucking life. I'm planting flowers, I'm negotiating someone to not do arson to the house I just bought. This is peak, okay? We have peaked, okay? Let's see. Put that there. I want to make sure I don't accidentally plant like 3 flowers at once. He saw someone he just met. You know what? Yeah, but that doesn't mean he needs to burn my whole house down. Like, it's not that serious, bestie. It really is not. Okay. Plant. 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 Okay. That'll be very cute when they are all grown. All right, what's over here? Is this like a balcony or something? Let's see. Let's see it. Plant a potato in the middle. Wait. That's so pretty. See, and now he's not getting naked. We fixed it. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh my god. Look at this. Look at the balcony. Oh my god. No, this is the thumbnail. This is the fucking thumbnail. Holy shit. That right there. Bam! Thumbnail, baby! Okay, that is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And then there's more over there. Oh my god. This is awesome! Okay. Woohoo! Oh my god, and there's snacks! There's even snacks! Oh, fuck yeah. Alright. Is there anything else I can explore? I'm sure there is, but I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if there's gonna be like, there's gotta be like workstations and stuff, right? Okay, let's see. That's the bedroom. So we have been down there. I think we have to go. Yeah, that would be a great brunch spot. Honestly, that would be very cute. That'd be very fun. That's the followers' quarters. That's one of my guards. Hi.
What do you need?
Oh, you're pretty. Okay.
Until next time.
Let's see. Is there anything I can go on? Is there a hallway over here that I can explore? Or is this the same? Oh, this is different. Oh, let's go down. Okay. Hello.
Need something?
Hello. More pool! There's so many fucking pools, bro! There's so many pools! This is very pretty. And there's like a little breakfast nook? Oh my god, this is... Hey.
What do you need, handsome?
Who are you? Did I get like a free whore with my house?
We should talk again sometime.
I'm not complaining, but you know, like, I didn't know that was part of the deal, but okay. There's so many fucking pools. And there's a chest over here. Why do we have so many pools? Like, I'm not complaining, but... And then that's another bedroom. It's very pretty, but I'm like, damn. Okay. 100,000,000% the orgy room. I mean, hey. It is built for me. Oh my god, he's got a waterfall. Holy shit. Damn. This is so cool. This is a very neat house. Yeah, my home is dope as fuck, and you just said you were gonna burn it down. I think he's just jealous of me, honestly. He's just jealous. Oh, and then we have a shrine to a hot lady, Debella. Very cool, very cool. Let's see. Has just bought a castle and has all the staff for major adult parties. Fuck yeah! Alright, I think... How do I get back upsies, though? Am I gonna get lost in my own fucking house? Sure am! Let's see. Come here. I think we came from over here. Yeah, something like this. Lucian villain arc? It very well may be. Yeah, that's how we got to Debella and everything. Here we go. Here's the stairs. I feel like there's more to explore, but I don't know where to look. You know? What's over... Oh, here's a door. Moonstone Keep. Wait, what's that? What's Moonstone Keep? What's the difference? I get a whole keep? Damn. Okay. Oh! Okay. Hi.
It's always good to see someone I can count on.
I've never met you before. You, really need to get... Oh, she's my blacksmith. Right, okay. So I have, like, friends. Oh, my God. Wait, your outfit. Wait, look at her outfit.
The Jarl has appointed me to be your housecarl. It's an honor to serve you.
Oh, my God, you're gorgeous. What did I become Thane of? Who are you? I don't care. Follow me.
Lead the way.
Her outfit is so cute. Oh my god! I don't know who she is, but I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. All right, you're also pretty. You're also pretty. Everyone's pretty.
I just need to find a good husband and start a family of my own.
I'm right here, bestie. I'm right here for you. This is cool. We have a chef. Oh, yeah! Oh, my God. I'm going to have the most kick-ass orgies in this place. Oh, my God. Is it really an orgy if there's no good snacks? You got to have good snacks for your orgy. You don't want your guests to get tired, right? You got to have good munchies. Okay, this is cute. The little balcony area. Very cute. Okay. And there's, like, all kinds of people. I love this. Ooh! Oh, I love the little posters, and we have a. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. I'm even like in real life. I'm like just smiling because I'm just like, this is so pretty. This is so cool. Good snacks and lots of water. Very true. Very true. You gotta have good munchies. Honestly, that can just apply to anything. What is the preferred snack? Preferred snacks for orgies, in my humble opinion. Finger food, nothing that's like too messy. Like you don't want to eat it, and nothing that's too heavy, right? Like a veggie platter or like cheese and crack, like a charcuterie board. But even then, you gotta be careful what you put on a charcuterie board. Like fruit trays, anything that's like small and not gonna be super messy is gonna be good for orgy snacks, in my humble opinion. You know, because you don't want to end up getting too full of a tummy at an orgy, right? There's still work to be done. There's still shit we gotta do. And then, okay, there's even more over here. That is very cool. It looks like I do just own a Spriggan, which is fun. Is there anything behind here? No. This is what I think it is. The dude who made this house made some other equally dope house mods. I'll have to check them out then. Did he also make Moonstone? They're very cool. These are very cool. I think that's all, though, in terms of the keep. That is very neat. Okay. Well, gamers, a new horny touches the butt. Okay. Well, I think this has been a really, this has been fun. I'm glad we got our house finally. We have a, I'm not sure if I've explored everything. It looks like the doors close automatically, so I'm not sure. But I definitely think we did some stuff. It was a weird stream today. I'm gonna be honest. I was like not 100% there, but I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. We now have, what is he doing with his face? Is he trying to do the sexy bottom lip bite? It's not working for you, bestie. It's not working. But I was kind of all over the place this stream, honestly. So thank you for sticking by me. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, so if you would like to keep up with what I do have a Discord. My name is EB Games if you are new here. I stream on Twitch every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday, and I stream on YouTube every Friday. I also have my YouTube, which is here. Oh, thank you, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. And here's my other miscellaneous social media if you want to see me shit post. And then I did have some people in here asking about voice lessons earlier. So if you want to learn more about my, oh, that's the wrong Canva link, but we'll fix that later. Thank you for that, AJ. Volleyball, I appreciate that. So, but yeah, I think we ended on a really good note. Let's see who we can raid. Who's live right now? Who can we send our love and affection? Oh my God, there's like sound here. Jesus Christ. Let's go raid. We'll raid Prim. We haven't raided her in a while. Since it's been a more chill stream, I think it'll be suiting. So we will raid Evening Primrose. She is a former vocal student of mine, and she's doing some ASMR. So you can chill out, you can vibe. And please give her the same love and affection you would give me. What are we going to make our raid message? We did get a whole ass castle, so that's cool, you know. Let's just do castle raid. EB Games castle raid. I think that would be good. But yeah, this was another Wild Rim Sky stream. Alright, gamers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you on Wednesday, and I hope you have a wonderful start to your week.